Welcome to the final week of the regular season, our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by Roan Law. Beautiful night in Greensboro. It's the Northern Guilford Nighthawks. They look to pull the upset tonight against the league champion, the Grimsley Whirlies, undefeated at 9-0. This is a Greensboro rivalry that's fantastic. Alongside my partner in crime, Mark Covert, I'm Evan Budrovich. Mark, one team that's played really good football in Grimsley. How do they continue that success tonight?
It's just playing the fundamentals, right? I mean, you've done it all year long for the first 9 games of the season. Come out here and play your brand of football at home and close out the regular season unblemished and perfect heading into the postseason.
Grimsley looks to finish out a 4-year stretch of unbeaten play in the regular season, but the upset Northern Guilford Nighthawks, can they pull the upset tonight? And with more, we go down to Rebecca Fiorentino. Hey, Rebecca.
Well, thanks so much, guys. The Nighthawks have been plagued with the injury bug this season, losing several key pieces on offense and defense to season-ending injuries. But head coach Eric Westberg told us that even though they've been faced with this adversity, his team is a group of fighters who show up each and every Friday prepared and ready to win a football game. And although he won't have those guys he's developed for 4 years get to finish off their career on the field, he's proud of the young guys who have stepped up and are getting valuable experience. Well, we've got a good one for you guys here tonight. It's week 10 of the regular season between Grimsley and Northern, and opening kickoff is coming up next.
I grew up where the world was simple and slow, learning right from wrong.
Welcome back to Greensboro, North Carolina. 2 rivals, all in the same county, in the same area. 2 programs that know each other oh so well in Grimsley and Northern Guilford. Mark, let's dive right into our keys to this matchup, because if you're the upstart Northern Guilford Nighthawks, we noted the injuries with 5 or 6 starters out entering this game. You mentioned the creativity. How can the Nighthawks almost spook or surprise Grimsley tonight?
See the Halloween reference there with it right around the corner. No, it's about diving into your bag of tricks. You're obviously at a disadvantage from a talent standpoint here tonight. A lot of the key players on this Northern Guilford team are out and sidelined. So dive into that bag of tricks. Try to get this Grimsley team off balance. Maybe even here early on, reverse, a trick pass, something like that to throw them off balance and just have a finisher's mentality this season. A big win here tonight does a lot for their playoff hopes. And when you look at Grimsley, again, talking about playing fundamental football, they've done it all year long. Play your strengths and roll along with that, and then dominating up front on both sides of the football and giving this front of Northern Guilford all it can handle.
This is a Grimsley team that can really score 43 points a game, but their biggest win of the season last week against Page, a 5-point win, and even the coaching staff mentioned, Darryl Brown said, Wasn't our best performance, but we found a way to win the football game.
And that's kind of what it comes down to sometimes with a team that for the first 8 weeks of the season won with ease almost every single week. And then you have that first challenge and you learn what your team is really made of. We're going to see a little bit more of that here tonight and see if they can take advantage of a team that's been ravaged by injury.
And that injured team is Northern Guilford, 4-5 entering this game. They'll get the football first. Northern Guilford with a win keeps their playoff hopes alive. So this game's very important for each of these squads. And we get ready for kickoff. Tell you what, Mark, glad we made it to the end of the season here. There's Coach Eric Westberg, who took a big sigh of relief coming into our phone call. He said, hey, our team's going to compete. They're going to work their tails off, and they're going to play like dogs. I don't know how Nighthawks play like dogs, but I get the reference.
Oh, they're scrappy, right? And that's what they've been all year as well. For as consistent as Grimsley has been, you know Northern Guilford's going to put up a fight. And I don't think we're going to see any less here tonight.
So Grimsley to send away the football, and we begin the final week of the regular season in high school football. That kick will roll out of bounds, so great field position for Northern Guilford. Last year when these teams met, it was a 6-point game, and that game had league title implications here in 4A high school football. A different motivation for Coach Westberg, but he's confident in his group tonight.
When you have the talent that Northern Guilford usually has, and they have tons of it, and you can go down the line and talk year after year about some of the players that have come out of this program. The confidence is there, and the confidence is also justified. Now you just have to have that confidence in the guys that are stepping up here tonight. Again, next man up mentality. They have to have that here against one of the best teams in all of North Carolina.
So the starting quarterback is Xander Marsh. He's a sophomore. It's his 4th start, replacing Jack Mercer, who was an all-league quarterback last year, but out the last 5 weeks due to injury. So here's the young Marsh. Sends a receiver in motion on first down, gives it to him. There's the surprise of Tyler Mosca, the 2A team captain. He's tackled quickly by Jamari Davis.
Mosca, a tough, gritty player at that wide receiver position. He will get involved a lot in a lot of different ways tonight.
Here's your Cook Reynolds starting attack. For Northern Guilford offensively, Mosca a huge threat, but McGinnis, the sophomore tailback, he gets this offense moving.
They're very hard running back. A lot of effort there. Again, talk about the effort across this entire roster for Northern Guilford, and does not end with McGinnis.
Jaden McGinnis, 460 yards this year. We do have a flag before the snap. Now keep in mind, for those at home, that's the home press box on the opposite side. That's why the officials will look the other way for the white hat. But we'll keep tabs on them all night long. Penalties plagued this matchup last year. 12 combined whistles when these teams met. Grimsley won the league title with a dominant victory. Held them off by a touchdown. Marsh in motion. Escapes and is dropped. Andre Hill, the beneficiary. That's a big body at 315 pounds.
Came crashing down on the inside. Grimsley just collapsed the pocket, forced Marsh to step up, and down he goes.
Your Cook Reynolds starting defense. This defensive line, Davis, Jarrett, and Hill, all with Division II or D1 offers.
And you saw actually Davis there was the man who forced Marsh to step up further in the pocket, leading to the sack.
3rd and 16. Marsh scrambles, runs forward, jukes one, and short of the sticks. He needed 16, he gets 8, but a late flag coming in.
Thrown close to the line of scrimmage.
Here's our white hat with the decision.
Maybe a little late in the play for a hold, but
that's a personal foul and a first down for Northern Guilford.
okay.
Oh, a tripping penalty. That's what actually defeated the quarterback.
15-yard penalty.
Say it was right at the end of the play. He made one defender miss, Marsh did. Shook him a little bit, trying to go to his right, then came back to his left. Defender might have stuck his foot out there to stop him from proceeding any further, draws the flag. Good call by this officiating crew.
Northern Guilford loves the escapability of Xander Marsh, the quarterback. He proves it, setting up first down. First run. And a short gain for Cohen Muse, the true freshman tailback. He's the third stringer behind McGinnis and then Amari Akers.
Looked like he had something there, but just kind of slipped down on that turf right at midfield. Old turf monster got him.
Focused defensively. You see Keyshawn Jones there. Stud linebacker. 36 tackles for Grimsley defensively. He's joined by Bryce Davis, the all-standout outside linebacker. 2nd and 11. Quarterback gets out of one sack, dropped on another. This Grimsley defense, they can move all over the field, including that tackle for Khalil Stimson.
They had presence in the backfield that time, getting that pressure, but Marsh, the escapability again, rearing its head. A solid play by the sophomore quarterback. And oh boy.
This is not good news for Grimsley. Bryce Davis exits. He has a scholarship offer from Georgia under Kirby Smart. You see the size, that can translate.
Especially as a sophomore, still so much room to grow. But that's definitely something you do not want to see if you are the Whirlies early on. Bryce Davis leaving the field.
3rd and 11. Marsh scrambles out, designed. Throws to his tight end and short of the sticks. That's Matt Harris, the senior, with the catch. So 4th and about 3 upcoming.
I like the play call to get Marsh outside the pocket there. Give him the option if he doesn't find anything downfield to take off with the football. But a good delivery of the football out wide. Good secure catch, going to come up short, but they may be in no man's land here trying to take a shot early on.
4th and 3. We have a whistle and a timeout. Actually going to reset the play clock. My apologies. Northern Guilford coming off a difficult win, 9-6 over their league rivals Western Guilford. That was a 4th quarter game-winning touchdown.
Has to be a quick hitting play here. You can't allow that front of Grimsley to get back there and pressure Marsh.
4th and 3. Marsh fires. Incomplete. On a flag, and that's pass interference. That'll move the chains.
Just arriving a little bit too soon to go get that football. You want to break on it, but you have to stay in control.
That's Chris Young, who jumped in front a bit early, got his hand in the cookie jar.
See it here, just jumps the pass way too early. Runs right over the receiver that time, Anderson.
Excuse me, that was Harris. So that sets up 1st and 10 from the 25. 2 penalties moving these drives for Northern Guilford. What can the young sophomore Xander Marsh execute?
I like what I've seen so far, right? You've seen the escapability, the playmaking as well, but he's delivered a good football to this point. And right now they are driving the football, and these drives are being kept alive by the mistakes that Grimsley is making on a mental level.
A shovel handoff to Mosca. Spin down and no gain. How about Grimsley going all the way up the field? Dion McLaughlin with the stop.
And that's got to be the game plan. When you see Mosca or any of these receivers taking those handoffs or those quick throws in front and they're going on the jet sweeps, you got to force these things to go lateral. If these receivers are able to turn their shoulders and get upfield to get those yards, that's where you can start losing this football game. Good job by Grimsley to force it to the sideline.
A Grimsley defense that's forced 17 turnovers. Here's a nice run of 5 yards for Cohen Muse. He's the fullback on this team. 18 rushes coming in, but a bigger body in the running back position.
Sure is. It's a good play design, too, as well. The read option froze the defensive end on the backside of that play, working with the right offense side of the offensive line. Froze him up enough to give him enough running room to get a good gain on 2nd down.
Sets up 3rd and 6. Northern Guilford, the Metro 4A Conference, needs a win to keep their playoff hopes alive. And it's Muse, dropped for a loss. Robinson storming in for his 2nd tackle.
You can bet that Northern Guilford's going to stay on the field here to go for it on 4th down. 4 and 5, your heated rivals here to end the regular season. You need a win. They are going to go all out here. And an excellent stop
Trayshawn Robinson with his 5th tackle for loss. What a fantastic senior linebacker. 4th down and a whistle. Let's see who moved first. Looks like it's on the offense. Injuries aplenty for Northern Guilford on the offensive line. Malik Jones, that left tackle, he was the backup coming into the week. And Sam Bagley, 76. That's his first start at center for the true freshman.
And when you're mixing around those offensive line pieces, that's where you have to be careful. Has to be communication.
Throw on 4th. Double pass. Wide open. Oh, he dropped it. Matt Harris dropped the touchdown.
Man, oh man. The perfect play call. It's right there. The double pass out wide. And the one thing you can say is the football was anything but a spiral.
He dropped the Thanksgiving turkey.
He sure did. I mean, Harris was wide open. You got to catch that football. Hits him right in the hands and he just drops it. Oh my goodness. It's 6 on the opening drive against Grimsley.
Ryan Stevens in this Grimsley offense score 45 points a game. Go to work on 1st down. Stevens pumps, fires a strike, and Alex Taylor with his first catch. He's a yard short of the sticks. 44th reception for Taylor this year.
See Stevens kind of think about it at first, kind of pumped out there because Grimsley, excuse me, Northern Guilford did a good job of covering that motion out wide. Good communication on the back end, but still connected on the slant underneath. Able to set up 2nd and short.
After the nearly touchdown for Northern Guilford, Grimsley runs the football. And that is short of a 1st down. Good tackle by Kessler Neesmith. He's the anchor of this defensive line, the senior DN.
And this is where Northern Guilford has to make their bread and butter here tonight. It's about dominating up front and getting through the line of scrimmage to make plays in the backfield defensively.
The strength of Grimsley's on the defensive line. If you're going to upset the Grimsley Whirlies, Northern Guilford will have to get pressure on the quarterback. Jake Moore, the D-line coach. Third and 1. And a whistle and a timeout. So Grimsley takes the timeout. We'll take it too. 6 minutes into this first quarter. Scoring chances for Northern Guilford. And now Grimsley goes to work, and we come back on our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals game of the week.
Welcome back to the start of the first quarter. Well, previously we saw Matthew Harris drop that pass. Well, he's over here on the sidelines getting catches from Xander Marsh, just practicing. Guys came up to him, patting him on the back. Coach came up to him. Head coach Eric Westberg came up to him, just giving him a pep talk, keeping his head up and walking around with his head high, guys.
So on 3rd down, Grimsley extends the drive with a 1st down run. To Rebecca's point, when you make that mental mistake, how do you overcome it and respond on the next drive?
It's got to be about having a short memory. I think when you talk about the game of football, so many times you'll make a mistake on the majority of your plays, really. But you've got to have a short memory, say, okay, how can I better myself, and move forward so the next time I have an opportunity to make a play, I'm there and I capitalize.
That's a crescent forward 1st down. Grimsley moves the chains as good as anybody in North Carolina 4A. 400 yards of offense per game. Led by the quarterback Stevens, who's pressured, escapes, Sprints in open space. Stevens inside the 40. And a nice run flipping the field on second down.
Well, I'll tell you what a great job maneuvering around the pocket and getting upfield for a huge gain by Stevens.
It's a 21-yard run. There's our Cook Reynolds starting lineup. Stevens, fantastic. Taylor and Anderson, the duo at the wide receiving position.
And they're so good. Just out wide, they give you so many looks. You can go deep. Possession receivers, a very well-rounded receiving core here at Grimsley.
Ball from the 38 officially. Stevens throws for the end zone. Caught! And out of bounds inside the 5. That's Terrell Anderson.
Backpedaled right into that catch. A pretty ball thrown by Stevens, almost on the back shoulder. Stevens did an excellent job of locating the football in the air, coming back to it and catching it. Really almost one-handed too. The defensive back had his hand.
34-yard catch sets up 1st and goal. Here's Stevens from the gun. Summers is tailback. Play action. Throws. Touchdown. Nolan Albright, the tight end, with the Riddle tractor touchdown.
Well, that was a strike, wasn't it? Stevens just kind of took off like he may have wanted to run with it. Gets the defense to step up towards him as he draws that attention, and then keeps his eyes downfield to deliver an excellent ball to Albright.
The Cornell commit with the touchdown. Riddle tractor making tall grass short. And after Northern Guilford misses a touchdown, now Grimsley goes right down the field. 6 plays, 72 yards. That was really quick in 2 minutes.
That's exactly what you couldn't have if you're Northern Guilford. You give up the opportunity to put points on the board, and then very next drive, you give them up. That's not the recipe for success here tonight.
Here's Jackson Henry, the sophomore, but a fake. Quarterback throws, 2-point conversion, Anderson. That's the Terrell Anderson drive, making it 8-0.
Well, you always got to be understanding of the personnel on the field. Stevens, the holder. And that's easy. You can go for 2 almost every single time with that connection in the corner.
The Grimsley Whirlies swirl down the field for a touchdown and make it 2. A quick 8-0 start for the road squad here for our Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week. Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands and Caring Hands Home Health. We understand that the happiness of your loved ones is important to their overall wellness. That drive looked pretty good too. 6 plays, 72 yards for Grimsley. And the sophomore kicker, Jackson Henry, to send this football away.
Offense looked pretty well, didn't it?
The kick, not the same. This is scooped up, out of bounds. Back-to-back kicks out of bounds. Now, one area Grimsley told us coming in, we had to contain the special teams of Northern Guilford. That is an avenue to do it. You give the ball up to 35.
Well, yeah, and if that's the area that you're really worried about in their return game, what they could do, and trust us, they are dynamic. They've got athletes that can return the football, whether it be on
special
punts,
teams touchdowns. Exactly,
on punts or kickoffs. They've got guys that can take it the distance. So even though if you're giving up those extra yards, if you're not that worried about their offense, or not as worried, I guess I should say, then you'll gladly take those extra yards, understanding your defense is going to go out there and do a good job. Now, the caveat to that is they have to do better than what they did on the last drive because they got away with one.
Now, how about this? Northern Guilford denies the penalty, which allows Grimsley to have a conversation. Do you kick it deep or do you go short?
Huh?
Given the kicking troubles we've seen from the sophomore so far.
Why not squib it? If you're just going to take it at the 35, just squib the football. Because you're worried about the deep guys, right? The 3 touchdowns are responsible by your deep return men, not your guys that are usually going to end up as blockers on the plays.
And that's Jaden Hairston, one of the big returners, along with Roman Garafola, one of the captains on defense. See him number 5 in the white.
So those are the guys that you're worried about, but those front 9, you can squib the football into the air, even get a fair catch there. There's no return yards. Your defense still has a good job getting on the field in good position.
What did Darrell Brown decide after the 5-yard penalty? He kicks it short and returnable for Northern Guilford. Here's a big return and out past the 35-yard line, so about the same distance
Roughly.
But you see the explosive nature of Jaden Hairston.
Just so good with the football in his hands. And that's what they like.
Hairston averages 25 yards at kickoff return, which in any level of football is impressive.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you look at and say, well, how are special teams as important as offense and defense? Field position, and they play a huge part in that, giving this offense a better chance to score by giving them better field position.
So Hairston heads out to receiver for the senior. Back to work under center. Xander Marsh from the gun on first down. Marsh fakes the throw, feeds his tailback, and is dropped. Andre Hill is a problem in the backfield, and that's actually Jamal Jarrett.
Boy, he just sliced through the offensive line. You see him right there. He's got the size to dominate up front, and that play he does.
That is 6'6", 350.
You just see him come off the block that time and just get one arm around. And that's all it took to get the ball carrier down.
Jamal Jarrett reminds me of the Georgia defensive lineman, Jordan Davis with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
Big, physical, and unstoppable at 6'5".
And it almost looked like that when Jordan Davis was at Georgia. The size difference up front. To have a guy like that where you have in the middle that can not only just plug holes and draw double teams, but also make the plays to stop ball carriers, that's exactly what you want at your defensive tackle spot.
You said he sliced through the offense. I think he grabbed a whole pizza and cut through it with that 6'5" frame. He pressures on second down and an incomplete forward pass. But the pressure of Jarrett, he's in the backfield again, but he did just commit a penalty here. I think he's going to be called for a unsportsmanlike penalty.
I think he is too.
Mark, you've been an offensive lineman. Was that earned by Tristan Swinney, the right guard? He sort of provoked it out of him.
Well, I guess that depends on who you ask, because there's two sides of it. If you can draw a penalty because you feel like a guy is being overzealous or because he's showboating a little bit too much, you think you can capitalize on that, by all means, attempt. Now, if that results with you ending up on your back, I don't know. There's part of me that doesn't really like that much.
So it is the personal foul on Jamal Jarrett. Jarrett, a neat story. He went to Ben L. Smith High School right here in the county. So penalty on Jarrett. He then transferred in the last 2 years and has become an all-conference 4A Metro D lineman the last 2 years.
Well, you can see why. Again, it starts with the size, but he has the technique as well.
Play action. Marsh is dropped. Second sack for this defense, and that's Jalen Ash, the junior.
And this is the area of the offense that they've got to understand. You've got to get that football out sooner, because this front seven of Grimsley is going to get after you. They're going to bring numbers, and they are going to put the pressure on this offense to get that ball out. Even if you're rolling out, it has to be a true rollout to get Marsh away from the line of scrimmage and away from that congestion.
That's the 15th sack of the year for this defense. Joe Rigsby, the D coordinator. And we have movement on the offensive line. We noted 2 starters out via injury for Northern Guilford. And Rebecca, how does this offensive line stop Jamal Jarrett?
Yeah, well, you can't miss him when he's standing out there. He looks like a grown man. Well, I talked with Khalil Stimpson on Jamal Jarrett, and he said he makes my job easier when he does his job. He told me when he's there, it takes pressure off of him and the other D linemen as well. Just his presence in the games makes a huge difference. Then guys like Khalil can use their speed to really wreak havoc on opposing offenses rather.
His size is hard to miss. A Georgia offer with still years of eligibility. This pass is caught. That's Jaden Hairston, the special team standout, and he gets half the yardage back.
An offensive line has a tall task in front of them. Whether you mean that literally or figuratively is up for you to decide, but again, with them mixing and matching so many guys up front right now, you don't have the cohesiveness that you would desire. And as well, with the pressure that the defense applies, they're going to get antsy. They got to make sure they're holding their water and waiting for that football to be snapped to move.
3rd and 19. This is not the strength of Northern Guilford's offense. Average 190 yards passing.
That's where you'll see that front for Grimsley start to shine, these long distance throws.
Pressure. Screen. Dropped. Nate Dupuis was having none of that screenplay, and down goes Colin Muse.
Just saw him slide out and follow Muse out of the backfield. Tried to set up maybe something of a screen there, really a swing pass, get your guy one-on-one, but Dupuis able to bring him down soundly in the backfield.
There's your first look at the Worley student section. Now the punting unit comes on for Northern Guilford. Low snap. Good boot, all things considered. And this ball will roll nicely for Northern Guilford.
Anderson got
a 49-yard punt with the bounce. Good change of direction.
Anderson got real close to that football, too. I was interested to see if he was going to get much closer. It's dangerous territory. You might as well just back away from it. Low kick that took a little bit of time to develop so those guys for Northern Guilford can get downfield.
Think back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last night. A fumble issue on a kick return from the 1-yard line resulted in a Baltimore touchdown.
Exactly.
Those mistakes can be costly late in the season. A league title on the line for the Grimsley Whirlies. A win, an undefeated 10-0 season. Receiver in motion on first down. Handoff. Nice cut. And Mitchell Summers stays in play out to the 34. He gets 19.
Oh, man. The magician working the sideline and making something happen. He's going out there. Looked like he was going to get wrestled out of bounds. Keeps his feet, the balance. Spins back inside and gets some extra yards. What a play there by Summers.
It's a crescent forward first down to move the chains. Summers is top 10 in the Metro 4A in rushing yardage. Hard to stop at 7 yards a carry. Now a first down misdirection call. Looking to sweep is Jakarian Maynard. And Jakarian got tackled out of bounds. Look at the speed again of this defense. And that's Mark Johnson on the stop.
But really, you can credit that to one of the captains of this defense. That's Garifola, and he is able to stretch the play out. Again, we talked about how Northern Guilford has to start getting up the field when they have those sweeps. It's the same thing for Grimsley. Garifola able to get out there, force the ball carrier over towards the sideline, and had little room to run.
That's a Cook Reynolds starting defense, anchored by Kessler Neesmith on the defensive line, 54 in white. Summers is basically dragged to the ground, so 3rd and 5 upcoming. Northern Guilford, the way they tackle is sort of the way they play. Hang on for dear life and make you earn it.
No, exactly, and they're going to be scrappy. They're going to fight. This is not going to be an easy game for Grimsley to come out of here. Every yard that they get tonight will be earned, because this is a defense, this is a team that continues to fight no matter what is going on, whether it be injuries, weather, whatever it is. They will not back down from any challenge.
This ends the first quarter. An efficient 2 drives for Grimsley, a touchdown drop for Northern Guilford. And through 1 quarter of play here in Greensboro, it's an 8-0 lead for the league champs. How about this opportunity in the first? Grimsley did not miss their chances. We go to break after 1 quarter. Friday Night Rivals presented by Roan Law with a 1-touchdown lead for the Worthies. Welcome back to Greensboro, North Carolina. Closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by that young man, but also by Caring Hands. At Caring Hands Home Health, we understand that the happiness of your loved ones is important to their overall wellness. Well, the song is Turned Down for What? Here it is for a third down for what? 3rd and 5. The efficient offense of Grimsley. 2 drives and 1 touchdown so far. Play action. Pass caught. First down. Breaking free. And tripped up at the 20. Alex Taylor got by everybody.
Sure did. It was a brilliant play call along to the outside. A little bit of 2 wide receiver action. Able to run underneath of that one. Taylor was set up easily by his teammate out there in the slot. Just kind of picked off the other defensive back. He was wide open. From there, it's all about the foot speed.
That's a 41-yard gain on the Crescent Ford first down. Taylor visited Clemson, his recent recruiting trip. He could be an ACC-type player. Another pass. Caught! Oh, no! Anderson nearly had it. Great coverage.
Oh, my goodness.
We've said Jaden Hairston's name 100 times tonight.
Yeah, he's everywhere, isn't he? Catches the football, breaks up passes in the backfield. Great way to compete for the football at its high point. It seems like Anderson had this one, but Hairston not giving up on. Actually, really wasn't even Hairston.
Hairston and Guilford came in on the stop. They're like the Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. So good at being all over the field.
Got a Ted Lasso reference in tonight.
Unfortunately, an ineligible man downfield on Grimsley negates the incompletion.
Roy Kent, huh?
He's here, he's there.
He's
every
everywhere.
Greensboro wear. For the PG-13.
The PG.
Final week of the regular season. Grimsley right now the projected #1 seed in 4A football. A win tonight would clinch it. Handoff this time. And a short gain on the ground. Roman Garfola there on the stop. He'll be important to this defense.
Well, just kind of to piggyback off of the ranking for Grimsley, you look at some of the rankings around. Northern Guilford is one of those teams that are teetering on the line right now. And some of them, I think, at highschoolot.com.
Did you say that because it was Myron Tita who combined with the tackle? Did you use the word teetering to educate us tonight?
Yeah, it's a nice play. Well, yeah, we'll say that. Why not?
The junior D lineman helps out on the stop. 2nd and 12. Quarterback keeper. Big hole. Here goes Stevens. Touchdown. That was way too easy for the Little Tractor touchdown.
Did you see the decisiveness from Stevens that time? Takes the football, makes one cut, and gets upfield. And that's exactly what you want. You want a quick hitting running play that time. One cut off. Sees the gigantic hole on the backside, and from there it's all 15 in gray and blue.
Efficient drive for Grimsley, wasting no time. 6 plays, 85 yards. Let's see if Grimsley goes for 2 here. They faked the kick last time. Looks like that home section was checking the high school OT rankings. A lot of kids on their phone tonight. Jackson Henry to attempt the extra point. This time he goes for it. And we'll take the timeout early in the 2nd quarter. Grimsley running behind the quarterback, Ryan Stevens, and a 15-point lead over their league rivals here for our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Game of the Week. Stay tuned for the North Carolina DHHS halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, some interviews with principals, highlights from across the country, and more. Here in the heart of Greensboro tonight, alongside Mark Covert, Rebecca Fiorentino, Evan Budrovich here reminding you that Grimsley with a win tonight, they could be the #1 team in North Carolina football when the polls come out on Monday. Or sorry, actually Sunday night leading into Monday practice, but it's a crucial time for these high schools.
Well, it'll be an interesting case too. We saw East Forsyth last week, another contender for that top spot. So 2 schools in this area vying for that top seed in the West bracket.
Henry with a pooch kickoff. He's tried this a bunch tonight. And down with I think Garifola didn't want a fair catch that, but he put his knee down.
A smart play though. I think he thought about it anyways and just saw that wave of whirlies coming his way and just decided, nah, it's probably best to take a knee here.
Your Wizard of Oz reference for the night, a wave of whirlies down the yellow brick road. Now can this offense for Northern Guilford find the purple paradise in the end zone? First drive, drop a touchdown. How do they settle in? How does Marsh find more consistent passing?
Well, his line up front has to do a better job of supplying him with protection. Now again, a lot easier said than done with this front that Grimsley has, but they've got to come together, communicate, and be effective with their blocks.
Marsh hands off. Double pass. Open drop. Reggie King. He dove. Could not bring it in. Another good throw, though, by Hairston.
See it, though. They're trying to get those trick plays to go. And really, they're 2 for 2 on. As far as execution on the front end of it, it's there. They're getting these receivers open. The first time, it was just a drop in the end zone. And then this time, Hairston puts the ball out maybe a little bit too far. It actually seemed like maybe it was slowed up on that play. Just a tough play overall. And again, another drop.
A timeout for Grimsley. If I'm the defensive coordinator for Grimsley right now, I have to talk about these trick plays. What is Joe Rigsby saying during this meeting?
Discipline. And you can almost leave it at that. It's about discipline, staying with your guys, making sure that you are taking care of the man that you are responsible for, and that's it. I think when you try to play hero ball a little bit too much, you want to run the football, you want to be the one to make the play. But sometimes it's about calming down, realizing that you got to play within the scheme and stick to your man and just be disciplined.
This Grimsley defense has been really disciplined this year. Not only are they coming off a nice defensive outing against Ragsdale, holding them to 6 points, but they've only allowed more than 20 points 3 times this year. This defense, maybe not the elite defensive teams of North Carolina, but the way they score, it's a complimentary defense that stopped a lot of foes.
Oh, they're there. I mean, they're really close to being at that elite level, the very good level at the very least.
I think Huff's defense may be the best in the state.
Potentially, yeah.
We saw East Forsyth have an athletic defense.
Right, and they've got playmakers all over the field. So Grimsley's got a lot to contend with, but they've got athletes in their own right, and they've got guys who can take care of business, are disciplined more often than not, and know how to get it done.
Following timeout, 2nd and 10. Marsh throws. Hairston nearly dropped it. Whoa, there was a lot going on there. Almost picked Jalen Ash, and the lands incomplete.
A lot of bobbling that football. Almost looked like it was intercepted. Defense, good awareness to find the football in the air. Just got to complete the play and pick that pass off.
There was some butter on this football. Slipped in 1, slipped through a 2nd, hit a 3rd.
Man, oh man.
Movement before the snap, and it's called. The back judge noticed it. False start. Northern Guilford's first drive, where they neared the red zone, was benefited on 3 penalties to move the chains. They haven't had a real true first down since.
Of course, those were all generated by Grimsley and their mistakes early on in this game, just trying to settle down. They haven't had any of those penalties since then, so it seems like they have gotten right back into place as the game has gone on.
3rd and 15. Handoff. Breaks 1, not enough for Amari Akers. His first carry of the night. He gets 5. And that's a stop for Grimsley.
You saw how Akers was able to make that cut and start getting past the line of scrimmage, but watch Grimsley just flow to the football. So many defenders around it. You have 1 man miss, but it's still cleaned up by another defender. That's exactly how you want to play, that complementary defense where you're still hustling to the football until the whistle's blown.
That was Drayshawn Robinson, the senior captain with a tackle. He's one of 18 seniors for Grimsley. Here's the punting unit. And a short boot from Northern Guilford. Great field position. Wait a second, that ball hit Northern Guilford and then Grimsley scooped it up. Really dangerous spot there.
I'm not sure why there was any Worley touching that football.
That's my question, because Northern Guilford deflected it.
Right, so and it would go back to where they initially hit it, but you just got to stay away from that football. That's actually 2 punts in a row, I believe, that we kind of thought about it, because Anderson on your screen right there, the last punt was really close to the football before just getting away from it.
Let's go down to Rebecca with one of the alums of these programs. Rebecca?
Thanks, guys. We've got some special guests down here who played at Northern, now playing.
Rebecca, down to you.
Thanks, guys. Well, we have special guests down here who played at Northern, now playing at NC State. Tell us who we got. We've got a bunch of guys here.
Jakarius Pete. And my guy, Michael Allen, he plays O-line, he plays running back.
For you guys to come back, you guys just played last night at Carter Finley Stadium. For you guys to be here, to show up for your former teammates, what has that meant for you to be back and to show support for you guys?
You always got to come back to show support, you know, just looking out for the guys, just showing you that you care, really.
What did it mean? How did the experience at Northern help you and impact you at NC State?
It just got me ready for college ball, you know, the coaches are great. Everybody here is great. They just got me ready to prepare me.
And I saw you helping the other guys down here, watching film, watching the iPad. What are you trying to tell your guys down here?
Just stay focused, just lock in the game, really. We still got a bunch of time left. You know, we're down 2 touchdowns, but it's all good. You got whole second half left. We're good.
Terrell, thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys?
Really neat to see some of the former players return home for these Friday night weekends.
Would certainly say that the Wolfpack knows a certain thing or two about a second half comeback after last night.
Down 2 touchdowns in the final quarter. As Grimsley escapes, ball's loose. Recovered by the running back Summers. And Ryan Stevens was playing with fire.
Just kind of holding that football out there a little too far from the body. You start getting in traffic like that, I understand you want to make a throw if you see a guy open, but you got to get that football high and tight when you're running through traffic right there. See Stevens, actually he had it up high.
Almost hit himself in the leg.
Yeah.
Right? Knocked it loose on his own accord.
Different kind of self-inflicted wound.
He runs with that football very open, though.
Yes.
It's not tight. So 2nd and 12. Stevens to throw. Missed his target and wanted the tight end, Albright, who had the touchdown earlier tonight. Albright's a big target. 3rd brother to join this program. Nolan, the youngest. His brother's Lawson. He also has a sister who's now at Colorado and UConn, so well-traveled, the Albright family.
Sure are. Credit Franklin Lewis, the linebacker, following Albright down the field, didn't get shook by the seam. It's an excellent play in coverage by the linebacker Franklin Lewis.
Sets up a rare 3rd down for Grimsley. Third down pass, deep shot, Anderson, incomplete. Great coverage, Tyler Mosca.
Looked like Anderson had a step on Mosca. Stevens delivers that football, pretty spiral down the field, but Mosca with the makeup speed, maybe a little bit of interference on the back end of that one, but no call. A physical play at the cornerback position by Mosca.
And Mosca's our Scholar Athlete of the Week at Northern Guilford. That's a smart play.
Again, try to make up that ground. And maybe the football hung up in the air just enough that Anderson had to slow down and Mosca's able to catch up and break up the pass.
The punting unit sends this ball short, and a fair catch by Mosca at his own 35. Eric Westbrook was so kind to talking about Mosca, and Rebecca Moore on Mr. Mosca.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk with Mosca before the game, and he also plays attack on the lacrosse field. And he told me playing football makes him a tougher lacrosse player. Football builds toughness that's needed in lacrosse, and he's also become a leader. And he told me he wanted to improve as a leader going into this year because he's also a captain on the lacrosse team. Guys?
That connection's led him to Manhattan to play lacrosse at the next level. Talented 2-sport athlete. And a first down handoff. Look who's in the backfield eating up backs for breakfast. That's Jamal Jarrett.
A little late in the day for breakfast, don't you think?
A midnight breakfast at Jack in the Box.
Either way, he's eaten well so far here tonight. Just eating up those linemen, driving them
Look
into
how
the
far
backfield.
back he goes.
And you know, the crazy thing is he's still being blocked while making that tackle.
Or Dylan Miller, the assignment on the 6'5" D tackle. A short run on second down for a gain of 2. I know you have to commit to the run if you're Northern Guilford, but this is a tough assignment for Eric Westbrook's team.
But even if you don't commit the run and you start to go through the air, this defensive front is so good that you're not going to have a ton of time to sit back there and deliver the football down the field.
An immediate double team.
And that frees up other defenders to come down and make plays on those backs.
Trayshawn Robinson finished off the tackle. 3rd and 11. Nice hole for McGinnis, and he's 2 yards short. Called a shifty tailback, Jaden McGinnis, the 5'7" sophomore who finds holes and navigates through them.
And we saw that right there. Finds the hole, accelerates through, and now Northern Guilford on the field with the offense.
4th and short. Northern Guilford converted a 4th down play on the game-winning drive against their rivals Western. That win kept the playoff hopes alive for Northern Guilford, and the timeout called by Coach Westbrook. We'll take the timeout here. When we come back, a 4th down play. Will the upset Nighthawks look to convert it over the Grimsley Whirlies going to stop? We'll find out next from Greensboro, North Carolina. Stay tuned for the North Carolina DHHS halftime report. We'll have this week's Scholar Athletes, interviews with the principals, highlights from across the country, and more. Now we have a 4th down play from Northern Guilford, but a flag before the snap. Maybe some movement on the offensive line. Indeed it is.
And you kind of thought going into the break, are they actually going to go for it? I mean, because it kind of felt like one of those things like, yeah, you go up to the line, you hustle up to the line, see if you can get the defense to jump offsides, you call it time. Okay, we sent our punt unit on. They were still out there. I mean, this offense was still going to go for it.
Eric Westbrook told us entering the week, we have to avoid self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah.
And penalties have been their bugaboo tonight.
It's been their biggest bugaboo. I mean, they have not been able to get out of their own way.
There's a short punt from Flippin. Does take a nice bounce for Northern Guilford. So Grimsley starts right around the 36-yard line. We talked about the brotherly connection for these two. Connor Flippin had an older brother, Tyler, who was a state champion. He now plays at Barton College. These two programs, especially last year, playing for a league title. This year, Northern playing for a playoff spot, and Grimsley in the state title, huh? These are still two high-quality programs.
They sure are. And you know Northern Guilford's going to be there more years than they're not. This year, just one of those times where you're hit by the injury bug so much, you lose so many key guys.
Ryan Stevens coming off a week with 2 passing touchdowns and 1 on the ground in a dominant victory over the in-rival Page. 8 high schools in Greensboro alone. It's a big area for football. And a first down stiff arm for Summers. Sprints to the 45. That's a nice gain of 19 on first down.
I'll tell you what impressed me the most about Summers on that play. You said the stiff arm, he breaks the tackle, and then the acceleration off of that was incredible. Breaks Franklin Lewis down, and then accelerates through the hole to get a big chunk of yards on first down.
It's a crescent forward first down for Grimsley. They love to run the football. Coming in 240 yards on the ground for Grimsley. They have not been held under 200 yards all year in the rushing attack.
And that's with the receiving weapons they have, no less.
Quick throw to Taylor. Broken tackle. And I believe a first down. Hoodie and all, Alex Taylor sneaks past the defense. I never got the hoodie thing underneath the jersey.
Fad.
What's it going to protect? You have a helmet on when it's cold outside.
No, you know, your neck, maybe. But that would be a turtleneck, right? I don't know. They got new things that they do all the time now.
Alex Taylor, certainly a talented player, however. Team captain for 2 years in this offense.
Look good, feel good, play good.
That's Deion Sanders right there.
Yeah.
College game day heading to Jackson State this weekend. On 2nd and 1. Back to the ground. Nice hole for Summers. Down the sideline. Summers pushed out inside the 10. Roll him at the 6-yard line. That's a gain of 30.
Well, Summers with the cutback that time breaks it outside. And it was all 22 from there. You see right here, just bumps it inside, draws those defenders in, and then busts it outside. And the physical finish to that run as well.
Mitchell Summers is a sophomore, runs the football hard. Now 1st and goal. Stevens gives it to him. Up the middle. Touchdown. That was the Mitchell Summers drive. A hard run of 30 and a touchdown from 6 out.
Oh, pay him off, right? If you're going to let him get you inside the 5-yard line, reward him with his first tutty of the night. A physical run, and credit his big guys up front getting pushed, changing the line of scrimmage, and giving him an easy 6.
12 touchdowns for Summers this year. He's the new starting tailback, and now Grimsley. They might go for 2 here. They do. Quarterback throws. Good job knocking that ball away. And for more on Mitchell Summers, we go down to Rebecca.
Well, we asked Coach Brown this week what's impressed him the most about sophomore running back Mitchell Summers, and he said his body control. Now, you may be wondering, well, what does that mean? Well, he's never off balance, even when he gets hit. He doesn't lose speed, and Coach Brown credits that to his experience as a wrestler. Players get shocked with how physically strong he is for his size. At 5'9", 150 pounds, his body control is what makes him different, guys.
And Rebecca, we saw that on the last run mark to set up the red zone score. He tiptoed down the sideline. For only a sophomore tailback, he has some next level attributes.
And that's what you really want to see when you talk about your younger guys. How well do you understand the game of football? Now, of course, we didn't see Grimsley earlier in the year, so we can't attest to this, but how do you guys grow? How do they progress throughout the year? Whether you're a freshman, senior, sophomore, whatever, you've got to still progress. And I'm sure as the year has gone on, Summers has gotten a better understanding, a better feel for the game at this level, and he's been able to lean into that. And that's probably one of those areas where it's paid off, is the awareness of where you're at on the field and getting as many yards as you can, maximizing on that carry.
3 straight scoring drives for Grimsley after the opening punt.
They are potent.
They are who we thought they were. But Grimsley did not let Northern Guilford off the hook.
Haven't yet.
R.I.P. Dennis Green, former Arizona Cardinals coach.
2 weeks in a row.
Kick return from the 18. And no room on that return. Hairston dragged down inside the 25. Good special teams coverage by Tobin Dunning, the junior linebacker. He's flying around on the special teams. You see him there. A little celebration, too.
Yeah. They should be celebrating. This is a team that is 9-0 for a reason. And they've done it in dominant fashion for the most part throughout the year.
We asked Darryl Brown what's been the moment of truth for this team, and he said 4th quarter against Page last week. Lost a 3-touchdown lead, but held on to win by 5. Setting up Grimsley at 9-0. Northern Guilford back to the ground. And a gain of 1. Jaden McGinnis, not much room to operate tonight.
It's been tough sledding. And that's credit a lot to what Grimsley's done. They're playing around the line of scrimmage, getting bodies down there, and overwhelming that front so that they can't block everyone.
Jamari Davis with the tackle. He had 7 stops last week. It's his 2nd tonight. Battle for Greensboro. It's been all Grimsley so far. Catch Reggie King and a loss of 1. This defense feels like they're the '85 Chicago Bears, stacking the box, playing physical and aggressive. How do you move the ball against Grimsley?
Well, it's hard because they're physical at the wide receiver spot, excuse me, the cornerback spot. So they're going to be physical with your wide receivers. And even you saw it there, they're breaking on the football. So when you have that screen, they're breaking. They're going to the football.
3rd and 11. Marsh throws. Deep shot. Nearly caught. King might have had a touchdown.
That ball could not have been delivered any better by Marsh. That was a beautiful throw. It's a tough catch for King to make because he's got 2 defenders, one underneath and one over the top. So he knows one of those guys are there. Man, oh man, was that a pretty football.
And Reggie King knows it. That's on the receiver.
Yeah.
Great throw by the quarterback.
I don't know if he has a touchdown, but he has at least a long gain. That was a heck of a throw by Marsh. His receivers have to help him out and make that play.
You think back to the drop touchdown on the first drive. Maybe 2 scorers for Northern Guilford left on the board. Here's the punting unit with Flippin. And he almost flips the field out to the 45-yard line. This Grimsley drive with 4.5 minutes to go, it might end the game if Grimsley gets a touchdown here.
Effectively. And that's a weird thing to say in the first half, but for the team that Grimsley is, what we've seen them do, who we know,
with Grimsley getting the ball in the second half.
Exactly. So they'll open up the second half of the football in their possession too. So it's potential that effectively ends it even here in the first half. And the thing is, it has almost nothing to do with Northern Guilford. It's everything that Grimsley does that leads you to that conclusion.
And a whistle here. Legal substitutions. 12 men on the field for Northern Guilford. That is one strategy to stop Grimsley.
Oh yeah, you know, we have more guys on the field than you do. Then how could you possibly stop it?
And I see the reason why. 5 plays of 20 or more yards for Grimsley tonight. It's been explosive offensive.
They have been dominant. They have gotten those explosive plays down the field, whether it's been through the air or on the ground.
Stevens goes on the ground. Big hole. Summers. He is gone. Touchdown Grimsley from 50.
Summers on the last drive, we talk about his ability to maximize runs. That time, it was easy for him. And his offensive line deserves credit on that play. A big hole up the middle. And Summers goes absolutely untouched, and it wasn't even close.
Second touchdown of the night. That's a Riddle tractor touchdown. He knew it. 22s with the deuces and the hearts. It's a tough running back to stop for the sophomore tailback. Deuces are wild tonight in Greensboro. Rest in peace, Vince Scully, by the way. Great baseball broadcaster. And the extra point makes it a 4-touchdown game. This Grimsley squad looks ready to make a state title run coming up next week.
Well, they sure do. That quest starts in earnest next week. Of course, they'll be here at home for whoever they face.
And that's what Darryl Brown told us this week. A convincing win tonight sets you up all the way to the regional finals of playing at home into the month of December.
And then after that, you go to a college stadium. So it's not even like you're really going on the road. It's at a neutral site.
Between NC State or UNC. So, gosh,
Exactly.
An hour at the most.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not a long trip for you at all.
From Murphy to Manteo across this great state for a high school football.
And that's what you're looking for.
Cardinal Gibbons, the reigning champions. They're a top 10 team in the 4A ranks. But this is the 4A West, where a lot of Charlotte schools like Huff, Mallard Creek have been really good. Chambers, top 10. And then on the east side, New Bern is a standout, the New Bern Bears. I'll be curious. I think this West division might be a little tougher than the East. And to get through the West, Grimsley's going to have to play some great football.
Well, and there's some really good schools that aren't even in the, well, I guess I shouldn't say the Charlotte area, but in other areas that we're not really talking about. Watauga up towards the mountains. Mooresville as well has done really well. So there are teams littered all over the 4A spectrum that can go out there and get a state title.
Kings Mountain, a surprise.
Yeah,
night in that
absolutely.
team. So there's a lot of upset looking squads. There's a fumble for Garofola, and he jumps on top of it. Sort of knocked him in the face there by accident. He's got the build of a quarterback. I'd be curious if he had any quarterback background.
Kind of looks like it, right? Is it the 5? Is it the no gloves?
It's a lot.
Wristband, half sleeve.
Personality.
Yeah, maybe.
He's called an Energizer Bunny for this team.
Right, and you got to be a leader at the quarterback spot. So that's the potential. But with that being said, Xander Marsh hasn't been bad here tonight. And I think that's something you got to kind of look at. It's 28-0, but he has not been the reason for that.
18 yards passing for Marsh tonight. A couple of drops.
Exactly.
Fresh set of downs for Northern Guilford. Marsh wanted to run it. And a holding. This will go back 10 yards. That defensive line is so active for Grimsley.
He's able to get back there, disrupt the plays. And even when they're not actually bringing the ball carrier down, they're drawing flags.
Oh my gosh, Jamal Jarrett. I know he didn't make the final tackle, but he blew that play up.
I mean, there's no way you stop him without sending a double team, and even then, it's iffy at best that you even make a stop there. But you're committing another man to him, and that's going to open up everyone else defensively. That is a great strength for this defense, just to have a guy that takes up 2 bodies.
So the penalty is actually against. It was a personal foul on Grimsley, so a first down for Northern Guilford. 4 penalties via the first down tonight. They have 1 other first down otherwise.
Does not seem to have affected them much.
Marsh escapes. And threw that out of bounds. He had a target, but couldn't find him. I'm not sure how that communication missed there, but Harrison.
Yeah, I don't know. Because Harrison actually came back. It was a really good job by Harrison to notice his quarterback scrambling, come back to him, and give him an easier throw. But I think Marsh may have just rushed that play a little bit too much and didn't look down the field to find someone open.
Marsh on 2nd and 10. 4 minutes to go in this first half. Handoff left to Akers. Nice blocking on the outside, and Akers gets 6. That's the first time the horizontal running game has worked.
Right, and I was just about to say, Evan, it feels like the first time we've seen this offensive line for Northern Guilford blow Grimsley off the football. Now, it may have been on the perimeter, but they did a good job of sealing a wall. See 2 pulling linemen coming across there, and they have found a wall to get out in front of their running back.
Largest running play of the night for Northern Guilford, but a penalty and a false start. How disruptive is this defensive line on the offense, right? We've seen movement, a lot of attention to Jarrett and company. It has to get in the mind of the offense.
And just think about Jarrett being the guy who's the focal point of that entire defensive line. It frees up guys, Eason, Hill, Davis especially, with 20 tackles for loss coming into this game.
So 3.5 minutes to go in this first half. This might be the one last stand for Northern Guilford. A touchdown here, you stay in it heading into halftime. Blitz coming. Blitz arrives. That was well timed by Kashawn Jones.
I don't know if that was a design run the entire way or if that was an RPO, but if it was an RPO, Marsh missed that read. He's got to hang on to that football and take it outside, either running it or potentially putting it in the air. But man, oh man, a heat-seeking missile sort of play.
I realize running backs want the ball every play, but Akers was praying.
Yeah.
The ball didn't go into his belly.
Right, exactly.
We apologize for some of the technical difficulties. Working through that here with 3 minutes to go in the first half. A booming kick is fumbled. Recovered by Guilford. Costly turnover for Terrell Anderson.
If I'm Anderson, I'm letting that football go. Real low kind of line drive punt, no sort of hang time on it at all. That's a tough play to run over and make unless it's coming right at you. You see him here, misjudges the football, overruns its trajectory, and Northern Guilford gets down there to hop on the football.
And Cohen Muse, the freshman, scooped it up. Might be the biggest day of that 15-year-old's life so far, recovering a fumble.
So far.
It's the best game of the season we've played so far. Glad we're on the same page here, partner. Play clock ticks down to 5 after this turnover. And a timeout called by Northern Guilford. Mark, how vital now is this great field position for the Nighthawks? They get the turnover, and they desperately need points late in the half.
They have to score. They don't just need to, they have to. If they're going to want to get back into this football game and give yourself a chance going into the second half.
So we asked Eric Westberg this week, where's the best place to get pizza in Greensboro? He said, go to Tate Street, get some Tony's Pizza. We had pizza pregame. Now, we also had to hustle here to get to the press box.
Sure did.
We had some car and traffic issues for both of us. But one thing I'll say, Northern Guilford, despite the injuries and the mechanical problems they've had this year, they're playing hard tonight, and they may not get a win in this game, but to go 4-6 with an injured quarterback, 2 offensive linemen, 3 receivers, 2 are Power 5 offers, that's a testament to this program.
It is, and it's exactly what the program is known for. It's what they're built on. And it's not just saying, oh, well, they're kind of, iffy, 5-5, 4-6, 6-4 every year, but they're scrappy. No, this is a program that knows how to win. And they do win. They've won state titles before. They know how to go out there, compete at a high level with the athletes that they have. Just one of those years where it hasn't broken their way. A lot of guys, a lot of key guys injured, and they've had to overcome that. And they have
Eric
done
Westbrook
admirably.
said, we have to stay upbeat.
Yeah.
We need to stay positive.
Yep.
Me as a coach, as a father, as a leader of these players. So on 1st and 10, Marsh escapes a sack, now runs loose. Marsh tripped up by the turf, but he turns a 10-yard loss into a 7-yard gain.
And he was about to get a big gain if he was able to stay on his feet, cutting back inside. But, man, way to step up in the pocket and take off and run and get what you can. Now with a little over 2 minutes left.
2nd and 3. Quarterback keeps, and he's dropped. Tough decision for the quarterback, and Toby Dunning drops him.
Just dead to rights this time. There's nothing really Marsh could do with that football.
That's Shakari Eason as well.
Yes. Just coming through here. And better to hang on to that football than put it in harm's way and just float something up there in the way of a defender.
4th sack for Eason. 18 sacks for this defense. On 3rd and 5, handoff. Nice hole. McGinnis, touchdown! The second quarter drive that Northern Guilford needed, punching it in for the Riddle Tractor touchdown.
That's got to feel good, right? It has to feel great getting off with a punt, and then all of a sudden you recover the muffed attempt, and then on your offensive possession you take it down the field and score a touchdown right before halftime. And just like that, there is a little bit of life on that Nighthawks sideline.
That's a big 30-yard run for Northern Guilford, desperately needing points, and McGinnis with his 5th touchdown of the year, finished off by the extra point.
Well, you know they're going to fight. And they've continued to fight all night long. The opportunities that they've had that they've missed, they've put in the rearview mirror and are still moving forward, and that results in 6 points after the muff punt recovery.
When Mark Johnson, the senior tailback, went down in the 3rd week of the season, McGinnis became the starter. He has developed into an emotional leader on this football team.
You see right here the awareness, the toughness to break the tackle. And then from there was a straight line speed for McGinnis to get that burst and get into the end zone. Good blocking in front of him. And again, the individual effort to break a tackle and then show off the wheels on his way to the end zone.
That 25-yard run was 25 of the 48 total yards rushing. There's the big play we have not seen from Northern Guilford tonight.
They've been waiting on it, and they've had opportunities, right? 2 trick plays that have gone through the hands of receivers. This time it pays off with the run. And again, they needed a score. Going into halftime, they needed to get something going in this football game, and they finally found it.
So it results in a 30-yard touchdown drive after the costly fumble.
Trying to think if they drop it like it's object. I don't have anything.
And a whistle before the kick. Drop that flag like it's hot.
Ah, there it is.
Double-digit penalties combined tonight. We've noticed that a lot in the month of October. High penalties, and that's hard to translate to the playoffs.
Well, yeah, and it's not what you want to be doing heading into the playoffs. Of course, talking about that, the main culprit we could probably talk about is East Forsyth.
They had 15 penalties last week and a win.
Exactly. Exactly. A very hard-fought win over Glenn. But you got to,
for a high school football, the best of the best in North Carolina.
and you've got to get past that, because if you start penalizing yourself in the playoffs, better teams will be there, and they'll make you pay for it.
So Connor flipping to send this football away. Low liner returned from the 14-yard line, taken out by Maynard. Maynard bounces a tackle, and he's pushed down at the 36-yard line. So Mark, 87 seconds to go. We've seen it before. How can Grimsley march down the field?
Throwing the football. Now they may be content with just running it and taking it into halftime, or I mean, who knows? Summers on the last play from scrimmage had the long touchdown run, so you're just not sure. This offensive line's done enough to get holes for their runners, and they have capitalized tonight. But man, with the receiving core that they have, you can really take some shots here towards the end of the first half.
Mitchell Summers with 2 touchdowns tonight, stays in at running back next to his senior teammate Ryan Stevens. Quick screen, that's caught. Nice hole. And Maynard dragged down to the 46. There's a big chunk play on first down. Crescent forward, moving the chains. Crescent forward of High Point.
It's a nice play out there. The screen, these defenders were backed off the football playing a zone. Take advantage of that. Get underneath and a nice chunk of yards into plus territory.
70 seconds left in this first half. Clock ticking. Stevens slings a completion. He mixed up the receivers and found Anderson there. Not sure if it was Maynard or Anderson's ball, but he caught it.
As long as someone comes down with the football, I'm sure that the Whirlies don't care too much.
Down to the 38-yard line. Stevens, the other sideline, deep shot, intercepted. Northern Guilford in opposite territory. Down the sideline, pick. Wait for it. Just short. And we have a flag back where the interception was from Jalen Hooks.
I think they're going to get Northern Guilford for pass interference.
No way.
All the way back at the football. Oh my goodness.
Oh, if I'm Eric Westberg, I can't believe it.
It's exactly where that flag was thrown at.
Big call from our lead official. This is a game-changing call. Otherwise, the ball's at the 2-yard line. Oh my goodness, look at this call.
Man, oh man, just too physical at the point of attack. And I'm sure the DB that was covering the receiver out wide thought he could come back against it.
I don't know, Mark. I don't think that's catchable for the receiver there. He's trying to stop and he trips. Now I'm pro defense. I played outside linebacker
yeah, exactly.
in high school and college, so I'm never pro offense.
We can't be biased up here. That's not what we're supposed to be.
I'm defensively biased. Stevens gets the free play, takes his shot. Ooh, nearly a touchdown. Overshot Maynard.
He puts that ball in the air a little bit longer, a little more air under it towards the back of the end zone. That might be 6.
Maynard's been a surprise at the receiving position tonight. He entered this game with 3 catches. He's been targeted 5 times so far.
Well, go where you think this defense isn't paying much attention to. They're going to be looking on the outside to Anderson and Taylor. Go to someone else.
Jakarion Maynard making his presence felt.
We've already seen Albright with a 2-point conversion catch.
2nd and 10. Maybe time for 3 more plays. Stevens throws, overshoots Terrell Anderson, and he had a touchdown there.
Again, just a little more air under that football. Allow Anderson to run under it instead of trying to put so much force behind it. This is a great shot from the end zone. Right there, just too tall. It's just a nice, easy throw into the end zone.
Ryan Stevens with 13 passing touchdowns if you count the 2 scores tonight. Now time for maybe 2 more plays. And a timeout for Grimsley.
The timeout does give them the luxury of targeting the middle of the field if they want.
Wow, Grimsley uses the timeout. I'd rather take the 5-yard penalty than the timeout here, wouldn't you? It's a very disappointed Grimsley coaching staff.
If you're taking the shots into the end zone, probably, just to save yourself that time.
Darrell Brown came storming out to call that timeout. Year 18 here at Grimsley High School. He replaced the former head coach, Damon Coiro, and has filled in quite wonderfully in his last 7 years. And he said, as long as we keep winning, it doesn't matter how we do it. Searching for a 4th straight league title. He certainly hopes that timeout doesn't cost his team a chance for points.
Man, they are so good. And again, that's really putting it mildly at best. I mean, this team.
Well, right now, Max Preps has them as the #1 team in the state.
Yeah.
Which would host all the way through to the regional finals.
And they've deserved it. The way that they've gone out and played their schedule, the way they've won in dominating fashion.
Imagine for the locality of this Greensboro, Winston-Salem area, if East and Grimsley met in a semifinal, regional final. That'd be a heck of a football game.
Sure would. And you're right, all eyes in this area would be turned to whatever field is being played at, whether it's going to be here or over in Kernersville. All eyes would be on that game. And as they stand right now, projections are showing again Grimsley at the 1 seed, East at the 4. So they could meet earlier than the regional final.
Darrell Brown, a 2020 state champion, won that title at UNC at Chapel Hill. Now his club searching for a late touchdown to close out the first half. Stevens on 3rd and 10. Throws. Albright almost had it. And we have a flag here at the line of scrimmage. Let's see. This might be a holding on the offense.
I don't know. The official here on the sideline dropped it right in front of him.
The pass was ruled incomplete. Remember, in the NFL, different in high school. In the NFL, it's a 10-second runoff for a penalty inside of 2 minutes. Not the same at the high school ranks. So Northern Guilford can decide the down or the distance here if they want to change it. That's what's being explained to Eric Westward.
Got to tell you, I'd take the down. Yeah, the way they've gone tonight, and again, you know they're going to take their shots into the end zone. I'm not giving them another opportunity to do that. You get one more shot. I'm not giving them a second one by accepting that penalty.
This is 4th down. Could be the final play of the half for Grimsley. Stevens throws for the end zone. Incomplete. Albright nearly had it.
Well, they got the guy they wanted on the field. One of their tallest targets, Albright, working down the middle. It just went right through his hands.
And then it touched the other receiver's hands. Wow, swarming to the football there.
That was Maynard, the other guy in the area.
So this will be the final play of the second quarter. And think about for Northern Guilford, a possible pick 6, but you get the stop. You're only down 3 touchdowns.
And again, think about some of the other opportunities here in the first half. A drop touchdown pass on their first drive.
And a final run to end the first half. Oh my gosh, Jamal Jarrett is a truck. He flexed his way to halftime. He says goodnight. We'll say goodnight as well here for the first half. Jamal Jarrett. Yikes. It's a big man. The Georgia offer. I imagine Kirby Smart's a happy man watching this one tonight.
It's almost like he can see the shadow of Jordan Davis, right?
A fellow UGA alum. So with the leading head coach, Grimsley's playing a great first half, and coach is down with Rebecca Fiorentina. Rebecca?
Thanks, guys. Well, Coach, 28-7 here in the first half. Other than that costly fumble on special teams, what's allowed you guys to be so successful in the first half?
Well, we got off to a little slow start in our run game, but I thought we made some plays in the passing game early and then kind of got the run game going in the second quarter. I think defensively we played really well that half, other than a turnover on special teams that led to a touchdown, but I'm really pleased with our efforts so far.
Your team is in search of their 4th straight conference title. 16 seniors here tonight playing in their last half in the regular season. What are you going to remind these guys?
Well, just kind of everything that they've sacrificed to get to this point. It's a great group of guys. They've done a lot for our program over the last 3 years. They've been willing to do whatever it takes for us to be successful, and so I know they'll do that to finish.
Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
More with our halftime report right after this. That's a happy man with his squad running and gunning to a 3-touchdown lead. Battle for Greensboro tonight. Grimsley undefeated, up by 3 scores. We'll have more from Greensboro when we return for our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, presented by Roan Law.
Throughout the 2022 Carolina Classic Fair Friday Night Rival season, Bojangles will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. This week's Bojangles Scholar athletes are from Grimsley High School, Nolan Albright. Grimsley's Nolan Albright is a letter award winner in football, basketball, and baseball. He was named Football All-Conference, All-State, and All-Area. Nolan is a member of the National Honor Society and is the FCA leader. Nolan volunteers of the North Carolina Coaches Association Kids Clinics and Miles from Matthew 5K. He has a 4.3 GPA and is committed to play football at Cornell University next season. And from Northern Guilford High School, Tyler Mosca. Northern Guilford's Tyler Mosca is the varsity football and lacrosse team captain. He is the first team All-State, All-Region, and All-Conference. He is in the Beta Club and Young Life. Tyler gives back to his community by participating in Beta Club Highway Cleanup Crew and the Backpack Beginnings program. He currently holds a 4.75 GPA and is committed to play lacrosse at Manhattan College next year. Nolan, Tyler, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season, courtesy of Bojangles. Bojangles proudly gives back to our community and is honored to be the sponsor of the Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete Award.
Congratulations to our Bojangles Scholar athletes. Welcome into our Friday Night Rivals halftime for Week 10 between Northern and Grimsley. I'm Rebecca Fiorentino, now joined with the one and only principal of Whirly Nation, Jed O'Donnell. Your team right now is 9-0 this season. How proud are you of this senior class?
You know, I'm extremely proud. I've been their principal for the last 4 years, and for many of them, I was their principal while they were at middle school as well. So I've been principal of them for about 6 or 7 years now. You know, they represent everything that is great about our school, both on the field and in the classroom. We look for leaders who are going to be mentors not only for the team members, but also mentors for their classmates as well. And we're extremely proud of them. It has a ripple effect throughout the entire school.
Absolutely, and the man leading the charge is Daryl Brown. What's his impact been to these players?
Such an incredible man, such an incredible coach, such an incredible teacher. He is not only a coach to the students, to the players on the field, but he's a mentor, he's a father figure, he's an inspiration to all of us, and I'm truly blessed to be working alongside him.
And you mentioned the ripple effect. How has that effect been throughout the classroom, in the hallways, with other teams? What's that ripple effect having success in the football program?
Well, for the last 5 years, we have been excellent on the field. We have such a winning record. It creates such a positive atmosphere throughout the school. It's contagious. The winning is contagious, and not only has it affected football, but it's affected basketball, volleyball, field hockey. We are a school that not only has amazing academics, but an incredible sporting program as well.
And for you, I love seeing you on Twitter with your messages, your morning announcements. Do you have a message for the Whirly Nation?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm extremely grateful for the support that we receive from all of our Whirly Nation, either it be at Harkers Island in the Outer Banks, all the way to Boone in North Carolina. We appreciate you, and go Whirlies.
I love it. Follow this guy on Twitter. You won't miss out. Check him out on Twitter, right? What's your Twitter? Tell him.
It's Jed O'Donnell 1, and also you can follow us on Instagram at Grimsley High School.
How about that? Jed O'Donnell, thank you for your time. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Well, that's Jed O'Donnell. I'm Rebecca Fiorentino, and what an honor it has been. I'm Rebecca Fiorentino. We'll be back after the break with another special guest. Northern Guilford Athletic Director Brian Thomas will join us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Jameson Stadium for our NCDHHS halftime report. I'm Rebecca Fiorentino, now joined with our athletic director, Brian Thomas for Northern. Your team.
Thank you for having us.
Of course, thanks for having us. Well, your team has been hit with the injury bug this season, but despite all that, they're still a group of fighters.
They're scrappy. There's no quitting this team. These kids and coaches, our philosophy is next man up. We've got a lot of upperclassmen that have unfortunately had season-ending injuries, and young kids are stepping up and playing and getting great experience, preparation for next year, but there is no quit in this team. They're scrappy. The score right now does not show how well they're playing. We feel like we're still in this game.
Absolutely high praise for the football team despite facing that adversity. Well, a team that's been having success as of late at your school is the cross country team with regionals coming up tomorrow.
That is correct. Our women's team won the conference this year. Both teams are running in regionals tomorrow. Hopefully both of them will do well enough to qualify as a team for the state cross country meet the following weekend.
Well, between football, cross country, and now basketball season is right around the corner. They start on Monday.
That is correct. Life of an athletic director and coach never ends. Our winter sports begin next Monday. Our women's basketball team is going to be really strong. Our men's team is solid as a rock. Wrestling team, if we get the kids in the right weight classes, they're going to do extremely well. And our swim team is, men's and women's are always super strong, always.
Well, a lot of exciting things coming up. Just finally for you, what do you want to say about this senior class?
Love them. They work hard. They're leaders. They do everything right that they're supposed to do in football, cross country, and all of our sports. All of our kids that are injured, they're here on the sideline cheering on our team. Just unbelievable leadership from these kids.
And not only that, to have former players come back to this game here and support their team.
We always have players come back, and it shows the kind of program that we run. They want to come back and see our team be successful. They want to see our coaches. They want to see our younger kids develop and get better.
Brian, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
He's Brian Thomas, athletic director for Northern Guilford. Well, coming up next, don't go anywhere. We wouldn't be anywhere without our sponsors. So it's time now for our My Spot Medical Timeout, your spot for COVID-19 protection from our halftime sponsor, NCDHHS.
Good news is our trends are coming down. All of our key metrics are coming down, which is great. However, we do expect that COVID will increase in circulation as we head into the fall and winter. With the cold weather, people moving inside, we do expect there'll be a surge. So we want to be sure people are taking all the steps they can take to protect themselves this fall and winter. The most important thing is to stay up to date on your vaccines and boosters. Everybody 6 months and over is eligible for a vaccine. Everyone 5 and over is eligible for an updated booster, making sure you have a ready supply of home tests and that you know how to seek treatment if you do test positive. There's still a lot of availability of testing, including free testing. People can reach out to their healthcare provider. Also on our website, myspot.nc.gov, you can see how to order free home tests and also community access points where they can get free home tests as well. If you test positive for COVID-19, you should follow the CDC guidance for isolation. That means staying away from people for at least 5 days and wearing a mask for another 5 days. In addition, if they have severe symptoms, they should call their healthcare provider and they should seek treatment, especially if they're high risk for complications. What we are finding is that people who've had the infection and vaccinated and boosted have the highest and strongest protection. So we do recommend people to get vaccinated and boosted even if they've had the infection. Vaccines are widely available across the state, including healthcare providers, pharmacies, local health departments. The easiest ways to find where the vaccines are available is on myspot.nc.gov.
Well, for those of you that have been with us all season long, we appreciate you tuning in each and every week. We want to give a special shout out to the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. It's hard to believe Halloween is right around the corner, as in on Monday, which means October is wrapping up. If you haven't made it out to the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds yet, you're missing out. Are you into haunted houses? Well then, go check out the only haunted village in Winston-Salem. A spooky surprise is waiting for you. Salem's Lot, a walk-through haunted village attraction, perfect to go to with your girlfriend, your best friend, and bring your mom. You can find Salem's Lot in yesterday's village at the fairgrounds, open from 8 to 11 p.m. and 8 to 12 p.m. on weekends. Let's send it up to the booth with Evan and Mark. And no offense to you, Evan, but if I'm going to a haunted house, I'm bringing Mark, the former O-lineman, who can protect me from all those scary things. I don't know about you guys.
I can't wait to disappoint her.
So, Rebecca, that's true in theory, but Mark's a scaredy cat when it comes to haunted houses.
So, yeah, physically, sure. Mentally, no.
Much like this kid's hair, it's been a frightful night so far.
Woo!
But nonetheless, we do have some highlights to show you. How about this opportunity on the very first drive? Northern Guilford goes down the field, and then they had some trouble against this Grimsley defense moving the football.
Seemed like a pretty scary start for Northern Guilford. A drop pass in the end zone. I mean, my goodness.
So this is on 4th down, and that could have changed the game. First drive, no points. Another missed opportunity here, searching for Reggie King.
Both on trick plays, no less.
And a third try, a little tougher, but King couldn't bring that one in. Grimsley, meanwhile, no problem. Albright, the first touchdown. Next drive, the running back show.
So Summers was excellent in the first half. Another example there, a long run towards the end of the first half.
And then following a fumble recovery, how about this finish by McGinnis?
Just the toughness to break away and the speed to break away.
And then this call does not allow Northern Guilford to take it to the 1-yard line. Instead, they get a stop defensively and no points. Mark, the passing yards, a tough day for Northern Guilford, but the balance on offense for Grimsley is impressive tonight.
Absolutely, and that's what we've come to expect from the Whirlies this year. Coming into this game, you knew they were one of the best teams in the state, and they have showed up here in the first half looking to transition that into their 10th and final win of the regular season.
So Grimsley at 9-0, one of the best teams in North Carolina football. And we want to give you some background and understanding here. That's the home press box you're looking at currently across the way. We're broadcasting from the visiting press box, just some of the amenities here at Jamison Stadium. So
the visiting press box.
If you see the Whirly flipped, it's just the nature of where the cameras are positioned. So it's not some trick on your TV. You don't have to turn the dial. You don't have to change the station. We're just on the opposite side of the field of the home team, on the visiting side.
It is not a shark fin. It is not a wave. It is a tornado just upside down.
And one of the most historic stadiums here in Greensboro.
It's a nice facility, isn't it?
Opened in the 1940s.
Yeah.
It has a ton of history.
And
we go down to Rebecca with the head coach. Rebecca?
Thanks, guys. Well, Coach, you told us this week your team is a group of fighters. How have they shown you that here in this first half?
Well, absolutely. I mean, 28-7, I know down some scores here, but we made some plays, and we didn't capitalize some plays that we had them on the ropes with. So they keep fighting. We had an interception there, that questionable call, but they're going to keep fighting. Hopefully, we do it the second half.
A potential final half for this senior class. What was your message in the locker room?
Just keep fighting, play the next play. You got 2 quarters left of your career, and just give it your all.
All right, well, this team will certainly keep fighting. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, it's Northern and Grimsley in the second half for Week 10, the final regular season game. Stay with us. Second half coming up next.
At halftime, Northwest Guilford 35, Southwest 0.
Welcome back to Greensboro. So yours truly got stuck in some traffic on the way over, so I trekked up the stadium steps. Wouldn't call it a 4:40, but tied my tie in time. Mark, I know you had some car trouble on the way over too, and never made it to the open of the broadcast.
Mind you,
How
folks,
you guys doing down there?
That was about 5 minutes before kickoff, so.
Great to have Mark all season long. And I'm just glad I made it. So I'm glad you guys are with us too on My 48 TV. High school football, man, that's great.
Oh yeah, it's been something all year long, and tell you what, this night going into it was no different or much different than any other.
The way we got here is certainly the case. Closed captioning for tonight's game is brought to you by Caring Hands Home Health. Caring Hands. Let me get the rest of that caption there. Compassionate care available around the clock. Much like my arrival, not always perfect, but it's fun while it lasted.
It's good to know at least Rebecca was punctual. So at least there's some sort of consistency here. It's just not up in the booth.
So we heard from Eric Westberg at halftime about fighting and staying competitive in this game. We heard from Dale Brown cleaning up mistakes. What do you want to see out of these two football teams in the second half?
I think that's exactly where it needs to be. I think both coaches really hit the nail on the head when they were evaluating their squads going into and coming out of halftime. If you're Grimsley, you just got to continue to play fundamental football, get back to the basics, and trust what you do best. For the Nighthawks of Northern Guilford, just come out, fight, scratch, claw your way through the rest of this game, and give yourself an opportunity to maybe make this a football game. But it starts with a stop here on the first drive of the second half defensively for an offense in Grimsley that for the most part tonight has had its way with the Nighthawk defense.
Grimsley in that first half dominant. 175 yards on the ground, 123 in the air. And they get the football first to start this second half. Just a reminder for those at home, this game is being filmed from the opposite press box, the visiting press box. Don't be confused by the flips upside down whirly. And an onside kick recovered by Grimsley. Ball's loose. Oh my goodness.
Whoa. Whoa. I think they're signaling for Grimsley still, though.
Ruled out of bounds.
Oh my goodness.
Now that was a whirling play.
Oh my goodness.
So Jalen Hooks seemed to have it on the second bounce, but who grabs it initially?
First of all, great bounce.
So that's the Grimsley linebacker, Sam Sackey, and then he lost it. Oh, that's it. Oh, we did the challenge flag.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, that's inbounds.
Oh my goodness.
If there was replay in high school football, I think Eric Westberg would have quite the conversation.
Sure would.
First down handoff instead. Big handoff for Summers. He had 2 touchdowns and continues that on the ground. 8 rushes for 131 yards in that first half. He was the backup tailback entering the year. Now has become a mainstay.
The lead back in this offense saw the attributes in the first half. The vision, the footwork, the elusiveness, and of course the speed.
Running back motions out. Quarterback throws it inside, and the catch for Jeremiah Deese. Stiff arm, broken tackle. Deese down the sideline. Touchdown.
Wow.
That's a 58-yard man of a play for the Riddle Tractor touchdown.
That is all Deese on that play. I mean, you talk about the effort, the speed, the elusiveness. Just talked about Summers and how he did that in the first half, and Deese takes all of that in one play. Puts it all together. See the strength there, and then the push to stay in bounds, no less, and finish that play off. What a play to start the second half.
First touchdown of the year for Deese, and boy, did he earn it. That reaction tells the story.
My goodness.
He broke, what, 4 tackles there, at least?
At least.
Jackson Henry on for the extra point. I tell you what, if you're Northern Guilford, a possible pick 6, a possible touchdown, a possible onside kick recovery, that has all gone Grimsley's way tonight.
It kind of seems almost like a microcosm of their year, right? I mean, you just look at what they've done. And they've done a good job in this football game, except for those few missed breaks.
Let's count the tackles here for the folks at home. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. 5, 6, 7, 8. Jeremiah Deese is great.
Yeah.
58-yard touchdown. My goodness.
You may not see a better one all year. From an individual standpoint, that was incredible. And it started with a really good play design by Grimsley, no less. Shifted Summers out of the backfield, had the defense flow over towards him, and opened up the middle of the field for Deese to run wild.
Let's not forget that was another Crescent Ford first down. Crescent Ford of High Point serving the Triad since 1970. You forget about those when there's a touchdown, too, at the end of the play. And now he's got the celebration chain. That chain with a big G on it, it's a yearly tradition now at Grimsley.
Seems pretty close to another G.
Well, think about this, Mark. 5 more touchdowns tonight. 60 total touchdowns for the Grimsley Whirlies.
Is that good?
One of the highest scoring teams in the state. Asheville Christian actually leads the state in scoring. The Asheville Christian Academy averages 52 points a game.
Man.
And their quarterback, Javier Rice, has 2,900 yards passing. Here we are 9 weeks into the season. Following a penalty, the kickoff comes from their own 45. I think Henry can get into the end zone from here. The kick is up, and it's short, but into the end zone for the touchback.
Not keeping points in the kickoff, so that's fine.
My brother was a kicker in college. Did I ever tell you that? He was a kicker and punter at USC. Southern California, to be clear.
Oh, okay. See, you have to clarify that on this side of the country, especially as close to South Carolina as you are.
There's any Gamecocks fans listening. The Trojans are the real USC.
Ooh,
Forget it.
man.
Good programs, though.
You would understand when we are basing all of this off of ratings, right?
And a penalty before the snap. What a challenge for this offensive line, slowing down both Jarrett and Davis, who are monsters on the defensive line.
I think challenge might be a bit of an understatement. Man, this defensive line was so good in the first half, just disrupting the entire game plan offensively for what Northern Guilford wanted to do.
And Tristan Swinney moves over from guard to center to start this second half. Xander Marsh gives it outside on the stretch and immediately tripped up. Good penetration. And that's number 41. Robinson on the stop. Trayshawn Robinson. He's joined by many others on the tackle. Sean Jones, this linebacking crew, electric. They're led by Joe Rigsby, who's also the defensive coordinator for this team. Running back moves, but the ball doesn't move, so a false start.
Ooh, they're playing with fire now.
Remember, Sam Bagley, the center, this is his first career start at the center position, and he has to face the leader in tackles for loss in the state of North Carolina, Jamal Jarrett.
You can see why it was on full display in the first half. The power, the strength, the natural ability. Man, the size is no lie. This man on the defensive line can ball.
It's men versus boys on the D line, just size-wise. Here's a screen over his target. That's one way to beat the defense. McGinnis couldn't catch it.
But you know, even there, it was still affected by all that pressure getting there so quickly. Marsh didn't have any time to actually get a solid throw off. And while it's just an easy throw, that defensive line gets back there too soon. They can affect it, and that could be a high throw just like that.
When the Jolly Green Giants running at you, it's never an easy throw. And can Jack climb the beanstalk of this impressive defensive line for Greensboro? Play action. Nice catch in open space. Mosca. And a Crescent Ford first down. Out to the 26.
It was a good play. Hit him in stride that time.
Mosca's third catch of the night. It is not a first down. 4th and short.
Almost kind of looked like they took a play call out of Grimsley's playbook.
A little slant route that time. Big drive here 2 minutes in to start the third quarter after a Grimsley touchdown. Marsh changes the play. The sophomore quarterback sends his tight end in motion on 4th down. Keeper throws it. Another catch, Mosca. And out to the 44. So he needed 3, and he gets a first down.
Oh, man, threading the needle. is exactly what you would say there. Marsh delivering another excellent football. Down the field to Mosca, good catch. In traffic as well by the receiver.
Now that's a Crescent Ford first down. Back to work on first down. Marsh turns, lobs, out of bounds.
Smart play. That's a very smart play for a sophomore quarterback to make. Just throw the football out of bounds and live to play another down.
Eric Westbrook said Xander Marsh, he's got a quick release and a strong arm. We see that on display here.
And he is learning how to process information on the football field with each play. And his confidence will continue to grow and grow. It's exactly what they want going into next season. Xander Marsh could very well be the guy.
Second down throw. Look at Mosca making a nice catch out to midfield. The intended target on this entire drive. And we have an injured offensive lineman down. That's Malik Jones for Northern Guilford. The athletic trainer Justin Swenson, him and his crew are out there.
I know you've kind of said this throughout the season, Evan, but of course football is a physical game. Injuries happen. Bumps and bruises of that sort. So,
and this is a senior offensive lineman too. What could be his final game.
But these athletic training staffs are so good, and we've seen so many of them this year. They're very much appreciated in the Friday night lights as they are.
We will take the timeout early in this third quarter. You know what? We won't take the timeout because good news, Malik Jones is back on his feet. I'd rather have that situation than a player down for 5 or 10 minutes in the stretcher, and this is good news for Malik.
Yeah, absolutely. Gets up, walks off under his own power, and hopefully with any luck he's able to come back in this football game.
And I know he will want to as a senior on this offensive line, a team that made the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years.
But to that importance, I'm sure that this athletic training staff will also make sure that he is able to come back in this football game properly.
That's the question Eric Westbrook Eric Westberg, not Russell Westbrook. It's been a difficult week for Russell. Much better week for Eric. First down throw. Turns into a run. Leads to a sack.
Quarterback Marsh, sack.
I don't know how you block Jamal Jarrett.
And he wasn't even the one that made the sack, that's the thing. But he just disrupts plays with his play around the line of scrimmage, whether it's bull rushing offensive linemen, commanding double teams, whether it's run or pass, the attention is on 55.
55 on defense. Has 40 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, and a handful of sacks on this defensive line. More pressure. Jarrett nearly had him. Quarterback escapes and slides for a yard. So that was actually a 4th down play, I believe, and a turnover on downs.
I mean,
good luck.
Yeah, wash, rinse, and repeat, right?
Do you wash before you rinse? Isn't it rinse and then wash?
I say rinse, wash, repeat.
Oh, maybe I heard you wrong.
Rinse, wash, repeat.
It's been a whirlwind
Don't ask me
night.
to say it, many more times than that, but.
That's a tough assignment for Xander Marsh, the quarterback, escaping this elusive threat. And a timeout here. Northern Guilford didn't have the plan. We'll take the timeout this time. 4 minutes into this third quarter. Grimsley leads by 4 touchdowns over their Greensboro rivals. Coming up in the fourth quarter, stay tuned to find out who's tonight's Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Player of the Game. Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, Winston-Salem's home for entertainment. I think that defensive lineman might have a thing or two to say about it. Here's a big hole for Mitchell Summers. Riding a 2-touchdown night. Summers cuts outside.
Oh.
Ruled short.
Knocked out just short of the goal line.
And that's actually Maynard who nearly had the touchdown.
Yeah.
And Jakarian says, let's run it again. Run it again.
Right, exactly. Give me the football again. I want to score.
It's a Crescent Ford first down. Big night for Maynard on the ground and through the air. And the new quarterback, Faison Brandon, comes in, true freshman. Brandon feeds Maynard, and he's short. Nice stop by Garifola. Roman's top 50 in the state in tackles. Another example here.
See him slice through. And what a play, coming all the way across the formation to make that play in the backfield. That is one heck of an effort by Garifola.
It's Roman's 95th tackle of the year. One of the best in North Carolina.
Energy guy, natural born leader. Leads by example as well. The performance is there, the numbers match.
Third down run, touchdown. That time, Jakarian Maynard punched it in after an impressive drive for the Riddle Tractor touchdown.
It's a nice, easy run that time. And again, when you have a guy that gets you down inside the 5, his coaching staffs want to let him score and give him a chance to put his name on the scorecard here tonight. Maynard does just that with a nice, easy run. Good cutback.
Do you blame him after 3 plays for 46 yards? That was all Maynard on that drive. Extra point coming here in the glaring lights of the video board behind him. You know, typically you don't want to have the blurring lights to distract the kicker for the home team, and yet Jackson booted it right down the middle.
This offense complemented by the special teams, complemented by the defense, and every facet tonight is rolling on all cylinders.
We have not called Jakarian Maynard's name much all season. And Rebecca, I hear you. Okay, Rebecca, you're going to talk to the athletic director here in a little bit. It's been a big performance. We'll go ahead and do it after the. Actually, you know what? We have some time. Rebecca, go on down with Mr. Albright.
Thanks, guys. We have Mr. Albright here, Ethan Albright, and you're the athletic director for Grimsley. Not only are you the athletic director, but your son is playing on the team in Nolan. There's a long line of Grimsleys there's a long line of Albrights that have come through Grimsley. How proud are you of Nolan?
I'm very proud of him. He's got a lot to live up to. He's got a lot of pressure on him. He's handled it and done beautifully. It's been hard balancing being an athletic director and being a parent. I'm just pulling for him to succeed like any parent would.
And he'll be graduating and going on to Cornell. What kind of person and player will Cornell be getting in Nolan?
I think they'll be getting the ultimate team player. He loves his teammates. He does what the team needs him to do. He can't wait to get started at Cornell. It's going to be a fantastic experience. I think he's going to have a blast.
And as an alum, as a fan, as a parent, as an athletic director, how much fun has it been to be part of this program the last few years?
Oh, it's been a blast. I love getting to tell my 2 sons that I had so much fun in high school. We were going to go together. They didn't see the humor in that, but we've had a blast. It has been a lot of fun. I've got great memories of being a student here and an athlete here, and having just as good of memories being an athletic director here.
And for you, last question for you. Tell us about the long line of Albrights who have come to Grimsley.
It'll take a couple of minutes. My grandmother ran the cafeteria in the 60s. My parents came to school here. My mom's brothers came to school here. My aunt and uncles came to school here. My 3 brothers and I came to school here. Their kids all came to school here. Now my kids are here, and it's just been a blast.
And the last one will come through here. You weren't lying when you said this may take a couple minutes. Well, a lot of Albrights have come through here. Proud dad, proud athletic director. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. We love the school here.
Guys.
Really neat with the Albright connection. The dad, Ethan, who we just talked to, he played for the Washington Redskins at the time as a long snapper. And a sack here for that Grimsley defense, making Mr. Albright a proud man.
His football team here has done an excellent job in all 3 phases of the game, and this is just another example of how they have swarmed the backfield here tonight. And he has gone swimmingly for this defense.
17 sacks on the season for this Grimsley defense. You can see why. It's a bunch of different players. Jarrett and Davis clearly. And then Dupuis comes in for his second sack. 3rd and long. Marsh fires. Incomplete. Through the hands of Eli Gaston. A senior receiver trying to connect to his sophomore quarterback, and the punting unit comes on.
And you can see Xander Marsh is frustrated, and rightfully so. He's had a lot of nice throws here tonight, but he just hasn't had the time to get comfortable back there in the pocket and deliver footballs around the field, and that's because of what Grimsley does defensively. It's tough. Young player, you want to be able to come out here and make plays. It's just going to take time.
So the punter, Connor Flippin, a busy man tonight, runs a fake. No, he does get it away. Little rugby style kick. Yeah, nice bounce for Flippin. Turns it to the 35. So a 45-yard kick, all things considered. Coming up in the 4th quarter, we'll have tonight's Roan Law play of the game. Roan Law fights and has the results to prove it.
Results to prove it have been here for this offense tonight. They have proven their ability to stretch the field, run it at will, sustain drives, you name it, they've done it offensively here into the 3rd quarter.
So the new quarterback, Faison Brandon, new tailback in as well. That's number 41, Drayshawn Robinson, coming into the backfield. Screen pass outside is dropped. That was a forward pass, so incomplete. Mark, be head coach for me at this moment with Grimsley. About to win a 10-0 start. What do you want to see out of your program in the next quarter and a half leading into the playoffs?
Well, for the next time that you've anointed me head coach, I want that pay. Now, moving forward with that, I want to see, again, the fundamental football, because you want to know that what you're doing and you're playing to your strengths is working. And we've seen that so far, but now I want to see it from my depth. I want to see it from the guys who don't normally play. They're not my starters. But if something happens in the playoffs, I sustain an injury, so whatever may happen, I need someone to go in there. I need to see that they can do it.
Robinson gains a couple on the ground. Great shoes tonight, matching with the pink gloves for Robinson.
See that, a couple of guys out there with the nifty cleats. I don't think I had that luxury when I played.
I like Nickelodeon slime cleats. I like it. The Nickelodeon game of the week where they drop slime in the end zone when you score a touchdown. Sets up 3rd and 9 for this efficient Grimsley offense. Only 5 turnovers all year for Grimsley, including 1 tonight that led to the Northern Guilford touchdown. Brandon to throw. Deep shot. Catch!
Oh, wow.
Terrell Anderson climbs the ladder.
And that's just a size mismatch on the outside. Anderson, we've seen a couple of shots taken his way on those go routes down the field. This time they connect, and that's all number 8 right there. Just going up, high pointing the football, and then coming down, securing that catch.
He even caught it on the way down. That's how coordinated Terrell Anderson is. Good coverage by Jaden Hairston. Handoff Robinson. Big body outside. Robinson breaks one. Stutters. And I'm not sure how he lost the football, but it goes out of bounds. Try explaining that one to your kids one day.
Yeah, you know. He knows it too. He just fumbled it right out of bounds. Could have gotten a couple extra yards.
That's the junior linebacker who has less than a handful of carries entering tonight.
Maybe we'll see from this angle.
What had happened was
got stripped out from behind. One of those Nighthawks came up behind and is able to get the football out, just rolled right out of bounds.
Quarterback keeper. Brandon outside. Breaks one, stiff arms two, and short. He looked to truck Tyler Mosca into the end zone, and not that time on the Crescent Ford first down.
Yeah, Mosca, give him credit. Open field, he has a disadvantage in the size department, but able to bring down Brandon in the open field.
That was the 10th play of 20 or more yards, but it might come back on a penalty here.
Man, Mosca's a gutsy player, isn't he?
He's the heart and soul of this team, and that's what Northern Guilford told us all week, Coach Westbrook, you see him right there. Eric Westbrook so proud of what his standout, tight end, long snapper, special team standout, and DB, Mosca can do.
Seen him, Harrison, those two guys have been the names that we've called tonight because they can do so much for this team offensively, defensively, and special teams as well.
Let's see the penalty. So that is added on to the end of the run, but they're offsetting penalties. So the play ends at, I guess, the 2-yard line officially. We don't know numbers of who those are called on, no microphones for the refs, but there was some pushing and shoving after the play. Mark Grimsley's reaching a magic number. They want a 40-point lead here in the third quarter against their inner city rivals, part of the Metro 4A conference here in the Greensboro region. Back on the ground, Robinson stretches and is short. Good tackle, Franklin Lewis.
Able to stand up, linebacker on linebacker that time. Lewis able to make that stop. And for now, stop another score for this Grimsley squad.
65th tackle of the year for Lewis. Him and Garifola, good combo in the middle. Robinson gets it again. There's his touchdown. And Grimsley has pounded the rock on the ground. 5 rushing scores for the Whirlies.
I mean, just power that time, getting inside, working their way down the field. And just like almost every other drive tonight, it was a combination of explosive plays and consistent play calling, consistent execution the rest of the drive.
Grimsley is undefeated, have not lost a conference game in 4 years, and you see why, even on nights where it's not perfect. Jackson Henry on for the extra point. And 49 goes through. We'll take the timeout late in this third quarter. The Grimsley Whirlies off to a nice start, pounding the football on the ground and en route to a 10-0 regular season. Let's recognize tonight's Scream Dreams fan of the game. There's a new haunt in town. Scream Dreams is the Triad's only world-class indoor haunted attraction. I don't know if those girls are scared or excited, but they are fired up tonight.
Well, they're probably excited about how scary good their team has looked on the field tonight. This.
Mark, I have some bad news for you.
Oh, that's right. That's not their script.
That's the home fan base right there.
Gosh. Well, then they are scared.
Those fans are scared of the selection Sunday with brackets coming out for the North Carolina 4A brackets. Just a reminder, the 40-point mercy rule is now in effect, so the clock will continue to run. Sorry, 42-point mercy rule. And Northern Guilford with the clock running. We'll start with the football. We noted their toughness, overcoming 5 starters out via injury. What do you want to see out of the next 15 minutes from the Northern Guilford Nighthawks?
Just the competitiveness, and I want to see where those pieces for future seasons kind of fit into the equation, right? We talked a lot tonight about what Xander Marsh means to this team going forward. Of course, filling in for their injured starter, Jack Mercer. He could potentially be the guy they're looking at in the future, but want to see some other guys that are going to have implications going forward. And of course, the seniors finishing strong, and it could be their final game.
Xander Marsh throws. Great catch. And a first down to Reggie King. Those slant routes have looked really good.
I was just about to say it, Evan, is one of those things that's really worked for them tonight have been the slant routes. Those underneath throws where this defense for Grimsley has given them room to operate underneath. They've taken advantage of that and gotten some nice yards.
It's a Crescent Ford first down. Reggie King, 3 receptions plus, all in the second half. Marsh throws. Missed Tyler Mosca.
Maybe a little bit of miscommunication. May have been a little too far to the outside for Mosca to go get.
Stay tuned in the fourth quarter. We'll have our West Rock scoring summary. West Rock, your local leader in paper, packaging, and displays. Come join our team at jobs.westrock.com. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
You didn't give me time. I didn't get a warning.
Well, the defense has been full of rocks. Grimsley's been coming after the quarterback. Now on the running ground. Look at Jarrett spin him down. Looks like Jack Black and Kung Fu Panda just taking bodies and laying them down on the ground.
Let's call this man Poe. Oh, man, he's been incredible, right?
That's a big dude with offers from Georgia and plenty others in the SEC.
What'd you say, they've been the rocks all night long? Yeah, well, that time he just cut through the offensive line like a pair of scissors.
Tough assignment to block. Number 55 right there, Jamal Jarrett, the senior. Second year transferring in. He went to Ben L. Smith to the Prep Academy, the Magnet program. Came across town to Grimsley. Marsh down the sideline. And King tripped up, wanted the flag. He gets it. Reggie King's worked hard tonight. He might have earned that penalty by his efforts all night.
He sure has.
There's the PI.
He's certainly taken their shots to him tonight down the field as well. They know exactly where they lie and how they want to attack and who they want to go to for those deep balls. Reggie King, a sophomore as well.
I love this connection. Underclassmen, King and Marsh, both were on the JV team last year. And Northern Guilford's JV team, undefeated last season. This year, they're 9-1. So there's future for this program.
There absolutely is.
Think about the amount of JV players starting on varsity this year. Here's a screen pass to Hairston. And he breaks the tackle. Look at Hairston run down the sideline for a touchdown. Jaden Hairston does a great job of breaking that play open for a 40-yard score.
And for a guy who could very likely see his high school career end here tonight, what a send-off. This is breaking through the whirly defenders and then bursting through the secondary for the score. What a catch and run for the senior.
Jaden Hairston, he's a fun special teams player, an even better receiver. That's a nice weapon. So the extra point is good. Knuckled over the post.
I mean, they just don't stop, right?
And we just asked, what do you want to see at a Northern Guilford? Well, there's your answer. Nice touchdown drive.
Yeah. And Hairston's not going to be here next year. He is a senior. Him, Mosca, Matt Harris. Those guys are all seniors. So they're not going to be back. Reggie King, really the only guy in that receiving core right now that has much to say on a stat line that's going to be back. So he's going to be the guy next year.
Worth noting, Eric Westbrook told us this week he wants to give a big hug to Jack Mercer, his injured quarterback, number 16, the senior in white. With him out the last 5 weeks, his career will come to an end possibly. And that emotion starts to settle in with 1 quarter to go.
You got to think a guy who has aspirations to play at the next level certainly has the ability to do it as well. You got to think some institution somewhere is going to give him a chance and he's going to shine in that role. He's doing really well this year. Before he started going out, got dinged up.
Onside kick. Grimsley attempts to return this. And here's Nate Dupuis. Dupuis is not going down. No whistle. Now that is a return. Rebecca, what's going on? What do you got for us down on the sideline?
Well, guys, I had a chance to talk with Jack Mercer before the game today, and I asked him, have you gained a new perspective just being on the sidelines and seeing the game from there? And he said, definitely. I understand what the coaches go through now. I see what they're seeing, and I can understand what some of the frustrations are, maybe a different perspective on the game. I also asked him about quarterback Xander March and how he's been able to coach him up, and he says he's doing the little things right. He just needs to get out of his head after making a mistake, and it could be a lot as a sophomore, but he has all the tools and knowledge to be confident and to be successful as he continues on for years to come.
That leads us to our fourth quarter. Thank you, Rebecca. Final quarter of the regular season. Grimsley on its way to a league title. Northern Guilford playing hard to close out the year. When we come back, our Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week presented by Rhone Law heads to the final quarter. All the folks who make this production possible, certainly appreciate the technical crew making the job done there. You see one of our red hats having a grand old time. So to start this fourth quarter, a run for Faison Brandon. You got to enjoy it too. I appreciate that. Anytime you can have a grand old time.
It's been a fun season.
There are so many names to thank. It's hard to get everyone involved, but in the next 12 minutes, we will try our best to keep everyone thankful for a great high school football season, at least for the regular season. Play action here for Brandon. Dumps it down low to Albright. Tight end runs away. And he's dragged down at the 12-yard line. Good pitch and catch to the senior tight end.
Good simple play that time. Just booting out to the far side. Nice easy pitch and catch that time from Brandon to Albright. It's a very satisfying play to watch. Just everything rolling in motion with each other. And Albright, the big catch and run afterwards.
We talked to his dad earlier tonight, Ethan, the athletic director. And Nolan and Lawson, two football standouts here at Grimsley. Love that metallic. It just pops on a Friday night.
The chrome, sir. It's a chrome dome.
Google Chrome's a great program too. Quarterback keeper. Brandon's got great speed to the sideline and a touchdown. The Grimsley route is on.
And there it is. You wanted to see your backups, your reserves, what they can do in relief, that they can still produce even though they're on the field this late in the game. The answer so far is a resounding yes, and that's exactly what you want to see heading into the playoffs. your guys who could come in at any single moment of any game, able to step up and make plays.
9th touchdown for the true freshman this year. And the good news is the kicking game has been much better for Grimsley as Henry barrels one through. He's now 48 of 52. We'll take a timeout early in this 4th quarter. Grimsley on a way to a 10-0 season. Not one, but 2 quarterbacks getting the scoring tonight here in Greensboro.
Sorry, not that one.
Reminder, closed captioning for tonight's game is being brought to you by Caring Hands Home Health. Your family needs are our top priority when they're in our care. I want to appreciate Caring Hands all year for closed captioning. Crescent Ford for their first downs, Riddle Tractor for their touchdowns, Winston-Salem Fairgrounds for their player of the games, Roan Law, play of the game.
I really thought you were going to continue to rhyme there.
And the West Rock Scoring Center.
Yeah.
Whoop. Kick had some English on it. It goes out of bounds. I know Jackson Henry's a soccer player and a football player, but a lot of his field goals and extra points have the feel of a corner kick, you know, kind of that cross-sport technique.
Yeah, got a little curve to it, you know. It's true. Talking it up a little bit.
That's what Darryl Brown's reminding him.
That is not how you really want to kick a football. Just nice
and Northern Guilford will elect to let him kick again.
Yeah.
With the score being this separated, the running clock is now a factor, but the ball has to be put in play first for those confused by the rule.
It will only stop on a touchdown, a timeout, and that's it. A change of possession will not change, or an injury or an official timeout at that point. So
or D, all of the above.
Yeah. Running out of bounds won't save you time anymore. And a change of possession will also not stop the clock.
Second try here for Henry. That one looks better. And returnable from the 10 for Hairston from the 16. Hairston breaks the tackle. I love watching this special team standout, Jaden Hairston, play. I know that return's only for 15 yards, but he's elusive.
He is, and we saw it in the touchdown that they scored in their last drive, Northern Guilford did. I mean, he is one of the biggest threats for the Nighthawks, one of the biggest threats that they've had all year. And I'm sure going into next season, he will be sorely missed.
18 seniors on this Northern Guilford team. A few injured this year, including the quarterback, Jack Mercer, but a group that did not reach expectations, largely due to injury. These two squads were 1A and 1B in the 4A Metro last year.
And it's tough. They very well could have been in that same spot. Obviously, Grimsley's held up on their end of the bargain.
Marsh scrambles, evades the pressure. With a flag down, that's a catch for Matt Harris, the senior tight end. And that flag's back to the line of scrimmage.
You do have to think about what if. And I know that's going to be something that goes into the offseason. This roster will think about all the seniors, of course.
Ooh, a defensive face mask, so 15 extra yards.
They'll all think about it, but you do look at the roster on paper and where your performers are. And there are a lot of guys that are going to be coming back that can make some noise.
Grimsley gearing up for possibly a #1 seed in the North Carolina 4A playoffs. Quick throw outside and a nice catch. Hairston again. He's up to 6 catches tonight.
Nice throw and a nice catch, right? Back shoulder throw. Hairston on the same page with Marsh that time. Comes back, catches that football. It was a well-executed play on first down.
It's a Crescent Ford first down. Crescent Ford of High Point, we keep you rolling. They see me rolling. They hate it. Patrolling because we're in Grimsley territory. Ride on a first down.
Oh my God. You were doing good.
Quick throw outside and a bounced pass. We do want to thank the Birchie family of Crescent Ford and High Point, proud sponsors of this broadcast in our nearly decade-long history.
So all our sponsors, want to thank them all so much. They allow us to come out here and do what we do.
And more importantly, highlight what these kids are doing.
Absolutely. Give these schools a chance to showcase, and that's what's important, man.
Now a quick toss that's tipped and incomplete, nearly a pick. Think about this series that started largely in 2017 when the two schools joined the same conference, the whole Greensboro region essentially. First year playing as conference rivals in 2020. And Grimsley with the win last year by 1 touchdown. A little more lopsided this year, but that inner city rivalry, we've been so blessed with these type of matchups all year long. Opponents that are right around the corner from each other. Marsh to throw. And a catch. Nice job, Tyler Mosca, fellow senior, bringing that ball in. Mosca will play lacrosse at Manhattan next year and shows you athleticism.
Just the fight that you see across this Northern Guilford team is admirable. And that's always going to be there, regardless of who's on the roster, what players are there. That fight, that mentality is always going to be there. And you got to give that up to Coach Westberg and his staff. Just continuing to push that mindset and that mentality.
Good pressure and a tip pass. This Grimsley defensive line and linebackers are really fast.
They're technical too, aren't they? I mean, when they get up to the line of scrimmage and they see a lineman there.
And this is the second string defense.
Right. They know how to get past them. Using their hands, using the quickness that they have.
There's big Joseph Diku, the senior defensive lineman, 5'10", 280. He plays second fiddle to the big man in the middle, Jamal Jarrett. So on second down, Marsh takes a deep shot. That is almost picked. Nice effort from Michael Hawkins.
Almost looked like he was throwing to Hawkins on that play.
Hawkins ran the route at DB.
Yeah. And that's a heck of a play defensively. Just got to complete it.
Oh, no. Did that ball hit him in the face?
Pretty sure it did.
Oh, Michael.
But you know what, Evan, to kind of circle back to that point that we made a few minutes ago about how important it is to showcase these kids and these programs, we hear that on basically every phone call we have with the coaches each week, don't we?
Well,
how appreciative they are.
Eric and Daryl Westbrook and coaches said this week, very appreciative of our efforts and what these kids can provide. As there's a screen pass that is short of the stick, so 4th down. And the work that Rebecca does, too, telling the stories on the sideline.
Yeah.
It's always a hidden gem of these broadcasts.
That makes us look a lot better, right?
She's a lot smarter than you and I. That's
yeah. Smarter. She's on time. You know. Someone's got to be there to do everything right. And certainly isn't you and I.
Could be the final stand here for Northern Guilford. Team that'll finish 4-6, maybe a win or two short of the playoffs. 4th down, Marsh runs, and that sack will wrap it up. Let's go down to the sideline real quick.
Well, I appreciate you guys too. Thank you for being such great teammates, and I love being able to tell these these student athlete stories, and a really cool story that we saw was since 2018, Coach Brown has been bringing a group of his football players over to Kaiser Middle School. On certain Fridays, the players will go into the classroom, serve as mentors, be a study partner, and hang out with them at lunch. It's something Coach Brown hopes his players leave Grimsley and understand the importance and what it means to give back to the community and be a leader and mentor to the next generation of kids. So pretty neat story for the Grimsley guys.
More importantly, this was player initiated too. The guys continued and said, I want to be a part of this. I want to give back to the middle school teammates that a lot of them have siblings and neighbors and all that type of stuff. And it really pays off for this program.
And isn't that really cool? Because we kind of talk about it a little bit about, like, yeah, it's about football here, but when these kids leave high school, you want to make sure they're in a better place. And that's just part of that mindset that goes into it. And just knowing that that's the culture that's here and you wanting to be a part of it. It's not coach saying, like, hey, you got to do it this week. They want to be there. They want to go help these kids and leave a footprint on them going forward and for their futures. And that's, you can't ask for much more than that. As a coaching staff, you've got to be really proud of the kids that you have.
You combine the wins with the mentality that's built here at Grimsley. There's a tackle for loss. Noah Lampkin on the stop. Sorry, lost track of the ball there. His first down run with Lampkin with the tackle. How dangerous is Darrell Brown's team come playoff time?
You know, it's funny because we talked a little bit this week. And we've seen East Forsyth twice this year. And you told me that just kind of looking at some of the stuff that they do, Grimsley, they could be just as good as what East Forsyth does.
I think their defensive line makes them the best team in the state.
I would tend to agree with that.
I don't know if overall they're better than some of these teams, but boy, that defense is tough. There's a short gain.
And I would also like in the fact that I think Grimsley right now is playing a more controlled brand of football. Because something we've seen from East this year is that they have had penalties. And they have issues with that. They've admitted that openly. Grimsley does not seem to have such issues, and they have a dominant defensive front and offense that can score in any way, shape, or form. And this is a very dangerous Worley's team that's going into postseason play perfect.
James Tyler gets into Northern Guilford territory and then is stalled up with 1 minute to go. Final minute of many of these high school players' careers, including Roman Garofalo, who exits for the final time. These are the toughest moments for high school seniors.
Just knowing that you may never be able to step on a field again as a player. It's tough. Trying to come to grips with that. That's the thing every year, you know. You come into the final week, and for teams that may not be in a situation where they can make the playoffs, certainly Northern Guilford still has a shot. But you want to come out here and do it for the guys that aren't going to come back next year, your seniors.
Grimsley does not have to snap the football to end this game, and two rivals separated by 5 miles. They will wrap this up. Garofalo comes back in for his final snap. And this concludes the regular season of North Carolina high school football. The Grimsley Whirlies end the year as league champs at 10-0. Northern Guilford concludes its season. What a fun ride here on Friday Night Rivals, Mark, and an impressive win for Grimsley tonight.
Just on all 3 phases of the game, they were spectacular and executed like we thought they would as one of the best teams, if not the best team in the state of North Carolina.
The Grimsley Whirlies, one of the best teams in the state. They sure showed it tonight. We'll take the timeout and interview the winning head coach when we come back. Darrell Brown talks to Rebecca Fiorentino when we return from Greensboro. welcome back. Welcome back. Here's tonight's Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Player of the Game. Winston-Salem Fairgrounds, the home for entertainment. And Mark, what a balanced effort for Grimsley tonight. But it's the tailback, Mitchell Summers, taking over.
Yeah, just so explosive. Not really given that many opportunities to run the football, but it's what you do with the opportunities when they come your way. And he made the most of them tonight. Several explosive runs, 2 touchdowns to his name, and rightfully our player of the game.
Hard-earned night on the ground for Mitchell Summers. And let's go down to the winning head coach, Darryl Brown with Rebecca Fiorentina.
Well, real quick, before we get to our head coach, our player of the game is Mitchell Summers. What did it mean to get this win for the senior class?
It meant a lot. We was the first, what did you say? We was the first senior class to win all 4. So that meant a lot to them, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, you've got a great bunch of guys surrounding you right now, Coach. With this win, it means the 4th straight conference title. What do you have to say about these guys?
I'm just super proud of these guys. We've got a bunch of selfless individuals that play really hard together, sacrifice for one another, play really hard, and it's a great time to be a part of Grimsley High School.
56-14. All 3 phases were clicking tonight. What allowed you guys to be so successful through those 3 phases?
Well, I thought our guys were ready to play. We had a great week of practice, and we came out ready to play tonight. And like you said, we played well in all 3 phases, and I was really proud of them. We did what we needed to do to get the job done, but now we got to continue to get better and get ready for state playoffs.
Yeah, state playoffs coming up. How dangerous could this team be, and why is this team worthy of making it to the state championship?
Well, like I said, same type things. Our guys work extremely hard. They play for one another, and we got a bunch of really good players. So, we got to take it week by week, and our goal is going to be 1-0 after next Friday night and move on to the second round. But we'll get ready to go, and I'm proud of these guys, and we're going to enjoy this tonight.
Well, Coach, enjoy this. Before you enjoy this, here's your trophy.
How about that? Grimsley High School 4-time league champions, possibly #1 seed in the state. And Mark, that reason why is tonight's Roan Law play of the game. Roan Law Triad attorneys who are here to help. There were a lot of choices for this one, the way Grimsley moved the football. But Mitchell Summers breaking this game open with a 50-yard score.
As you're really in the second quarter, that's when Grimsley seemed to really take over, and so effective they were. Summers, our player of the game, he gets our play of the game as well. It's all-around great effort for the Whirlies.
Our West Rock scoring summary. West Rock, your local leader in paper, packaging, and displays. Come join our team at jobs.westrock.com. Close game at halftime, and then the missed onside recovery leads to a blowout in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, just really opened it up, and Grimsley dominated like a lot of people may have thought they would here tonight. And putting a perfect dot on that unblemished record in the regular season, they did just that here tonight in emphatic fashion.
We have so many people to thank for this production. I want to roll through it, so bear with me here a second. It's worth your time. Brian Self on audio, Eric Dowdy, Chris Jones, Kath Keeves, Derek Brady, James Lowry working replays and cameras, Russell Jones, our TD, Alex Carastello, our utility man, Monroe Jackson on V1, Video 1, Expression, our graphics operator, Peyton Hughes, of course, Chris Balash, our timeout coordinator, Richard Smith on Red Hat, Brian Davis down on the sideline, and Lori Bates, our producer, doing a great job in the trailer. For Rebecca Fiorentino, there she is. For me, Evan Budrovich making the way up the field, and Mark Covert, all of our crew. That concludes our final broadcast of the 2022 Friday Night Rivals season. We'd like to thank you all the sponsors who made this game possible. We truly appreciate your partnership and your support of local high school athletics. We'd also like to thank our viewers, you guys, for letting us into your homes and onto your TVs every Friday evening. We're so grateful to have received such positive feedback from so many of you this year. Join us again Friday, December 9th, Saturday, December 10th, Chapel Hill and Raleigh for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association State Championships. We'll be broadcasting the games live right here on WMYV, My 48 Sports. For tonight, Grimsley 10-0 to close out the regular season. Thank you guys for joining us at the end of the regular season.